The ninja world is a realm of enchantment, albeit not vast, yet is plagued by incessant warfare that I in this place, lacking the inherited bloodline limit. One can easily fade into oblivion without a trace. As an ordinary individual devoid of extraordinary advantages, one must strive, labor, and exert oneself relentlessly to stumble upon the threshold of the bloodline limit ninjas. Awaiting there may be an overwhelming chasm of despair. Without unwavering willpower and indomitable faith, the beginning of the bloodline limit may very well mark the end of your existence. Hence, one must endure trials and tribulations, rising resiliently and persistently. Dou Chen Guang comprehends this deeply, which is why, despite each endeavor posing life-threatening risks, he is determined to grow stronger inch by inch. In the kingdom of bears, within the depths of Hell Valley, steep cliffs rise like razor blades, and grotesque boulders abound, while toxic fumes permeate the gorge, stirred by winds that howl like ferocious beasts. This moment, at the unfathomable bottom of the valley, a laboratory operates in secrecy. The lab is devoid of unnecessary embellishments, save for walls adorned with sealing techniques that shield it from external scrutiny, and the floor inscribed with intricate barriers. On the experimental table, several machines monitor various data, while a young boy, stark naked, lies upon the table. His striking red hair partially obscures his youthful, handsome visage as he strives to open his orange eyes, resisting the urge to succumb to the pain. He is undergoing a delicate surgical procedure, performed by none other than his own clone. Thus, he cannot afford to lose consciousness and must suppress the agony to allow his clone to focus entirely on the surgery. Peacock Mystic Art. Surgical control. After forming a series of seals, the clone's back radiates crimson chakra, unfurling like a peacock's plume, transforming into agile hands and various surgical instruments. This technique, clandestinely acquired from a place called Xingyin Village in the Kingdom of Bears, adeptly alters chakra vitality, endowing him with unpredictable and surreal capabilities. Dou Chen Guang's speed is akin to a phantom, expertly manipulating each muscle and meridian with finesse honed over a decade of self-surgery. Beep. Muscle scar repair completed. Cellular vitality is low. Enhancement of cellular vitality is recommended. Chakra, transformed by the Peacock Mystic Art, gradually infuses the cells, revitalizing those nearing senescence and loss of vitality. Cellular vitality, enhanced condition stable. Please integrate the newly transformed cells. This time, the material he acquired is meticulously merged into the cells, 1 micrometer at a time, eventually assimilating into new cells. The essence he extracted from the golden and silver horns contains the Nine Tails chakra, precisely what he requires. Cellular assimilation in progress. Dou Chen Guang's muscles involuntarily twitch and convulse during the surgery, as this cellular evolution operation precipitates a swift metamorphosis within his body. Time elapses unknowingly. Dou Chen Guang takes a deep breath and disconnects the monitoring tubes from his body. With a gentle flutter, his well-nurtured eyes opened slightly, revealing orange-hued irises that radiated a piercing brilliance. Not yet fully accustomed, it seems I must take the time to recuperate. He lightly rubbed his eyes, seeking some relief from the discomfort. Taking a seat on a wooden chair, he gazed up at the ceiling of the laboratory. After years of diligent effort, this place had finally transformed into his personal sanctuary, where even the most intricate surgical experiments were conducted by his own doppelganger. In these tumultuous times, finding a secure refuge was exceedingly challenging. This time, seizing the opportunity from the Kingdom of Thunder was indeed perilous. Yet the rewards were substantial. After prolonged experimentation, he had successfully transformed his own flesh, not only significantly enhancing his physical resilience, but also infusing his being with the potent chakra of the Nine-Tails fox, extracted from the bodies of the golden and silver horns. This moment, he felt he had acquired a modicum of leverage for survival amidst chaos. Born into a humble family, Dou Chen Guang, although of Uzumaki descent through his mother, did not inherit the famed Uzumaki physique. Moreover, due to his innate ability to passively absorb natural energy, his temperament often turned exceedingly volatile. Thus, when his parents perished in the ravages of war, The villagers, citing curses, expelled him from their community. Fortunately, he was afflicted with emotional detachment syndrome, a condition that rendered human sentiments nearly non-existent for him. Consequently, he experienced no fear, resentment, or any negative emotions. His parents had fallen before his eyes during the village conflicts, yet he felt no sorrow, rage, or dread. As a result, he was early on labeled a monster by the villagers, who regarded him with disdain. However, this proved advantageous. His emotional detachment enabled him to analyze situations with greater rationality, tame the ferocity of natural energy, and develop new ninjutsu. Thus, after departing from his village, he wandered through various small hamlets. Time had elapsed to the point of blurring memories. For years, he had traversed the small ninja villages in search of a remedy for his condition. The only recollection that lingered was the love of his family. His family had named him Dou Chen Guang, hoping that the Southern Dipper deity would bless him with a healthy upbringing. Yet ultimately, reality proved that he alone must rely on himself. After years of cautious living, he had finally amassed some resources to challenge his fate. It seems I must venture out more to gain greater strength. He clenched his fist, having adapted to his newfound power. Donning the fox mask once more, he soared toward the new battlefield. At present, the Second Ninja War was in full swing, as the ninja world, after 2 decades of respite, reignited hostilities due to widening economic disparities among nations. Konoha, having previously planned an alliance with the Cloud Ninja, reignited conflict under the pretext of avenging the second Hokage. Thus, the 5 great nations became embroiled in a chaotic struggle, with little regard for the plight of smaller villages. This, indeed, facilitated his endeavors. This time, his destination is none other than the Hidden Leaf Village and the battlefield of the demigods of the ninja realm. Boom. The sound of rain echoed throughout the land of rain, where the downpour never ceased across the 4 seasons. At the entrance of a desolate cave, Dou Chen Guang observed the battlefield in the distance. There, the ninjas of Konohagakure clashed with the forces of the land of rain. As Hanzo summoned his summoned beasts to mercilessly slaughter the leaf ninjas, the potent venom inflicted severe losses upon them. In terms of cutting-edge combat capabilities, this battle clearly favored the land of rain. However, Hanzo dared not press too hard against the village, for they were not on equal footing. Suddenly, he turned around to see a villager appearing not far away and remarked, "So, you dare to show yourself before me now?" Dou Chen Guang's voice, though youthful, carried an unsettling calmness. Behind him stood a small child donning a large round hat, with orange hair, bright and clear eyes, and a resolute little square face that exuded a sense of reliability despite his tender age. "Could you spare us some food?" the boy inquired. "What about the other 2? Are they not coming out?" "Nagato, Konan, come out," he called out. "He has noticed us." A little girl dressed in tattered clothes, her complexion pale and long, water blue hair cascading down, stepped forward, her eyes mirroring the orange hue of Dou Chen Guang's. Another small boy, with red hair obscuring his eyes, appeared more reserved in demeanor. "Isn't this a battlefield? Aren't you afraid of dying?" Dou Chen Guang questioned. "We are all orphans now. Our parents were killed by ninjas. What else is there to fear?" "State your names." "I am Yahiko, she is Konan, and this one is Nagato." "Is this what talent looks like?" Though all 3 were young, it was evident that Yahiko took the lead. Dou Chen Guang pondered. Red hair? A member of the Uzumaki clan? He used his chakra to delve into the past. An intense vitality lay hidden within such a frail body. Despite sharing the same red hair, he had regrettably not inherited his mother's Uzumaki physique. Had he possessed that trait, he would not have been so beleaguered by natural energy. Yet, it appeared that he had stumbled upon a valuable asset. "I can provide you with food, but you must do something for me in return. There is no such thing as a free meal in this world." Konan and Nagato glanced at Yahiko, clearly looking to him for guidance. "What do you want us to do?" Yahiko inquired cautiously, not immediately acquiescing. "Fear not. It is not a difficult task. I am a research ninja in need of certain materials, and he would serve as an excellent specimen for my studies." Nagato noticed Dou Chen Guang's gaze directed at him and instinctively retreated behind a stone pillar in the cave. "What do you intend to do?" "We will not hand Nagato over to you. We no longer require your food. Do not be so quick to refuse. I mean him no harm and have little interest in violence. Here, he is not in any danger. Trust that I am a proficient research ninja. Moreover, why not inquire about his own opinion? In the absence of peril, Cooperating with my research would ensure your companion's safety. The two individuals turned their gaze towards Nagato, recognizing that, at this juncture, they could not act independently. Nevertheless, Yahiko and Konan resolutely positioned themselves in front of Nagato. Will this truly ensure our safety? Nagato inquired. Indeed. As long as we do not provoke the 5 great nations, came the reply. Very well, I accept your terms. After a brief silence, Nagato acquiesced, despite the fervent objections of his companions proving futile. In the midst of chaos, merely finding a refuge was a considerable blessing. The threat of death or starvation loomed ominously, and thus he was willing to gamble for Yahiko and Konan's sake. After exchanging names, Tengaku arrived at Yahiko's humble abode, skillfully kindling a fire to ward off the chill while simultaneously cooking the game they had procured. Wow, this is delicious. It has been ages since I've tasted such exquisite meat. Yahiko exclaimed, enthusiastically devouring a meat skewer, seemingly having forgotten their earlier predicament. Konan and Nagato, too, indulged without reservation, each selecting a piece that pleased them. Nagato even took the time to feed a morsel to the small dog named Pochi. They were feasting on crabs captured through ninjutsu. In moments of extreme rationality, he couldn't help but ponder, if every ninja were to labor with their own hands, would there truly be individuals who starve in this world? The efficiency of ninjutsu dwarfed that of civilian labor by 100-fold, yet ninjas predominantly wielded their abilities for destruction, which struck him as a profound misallocation of their potential. As Tengaku savored the meat, his thoughts drifted. Before long, the platter was rendered empty. Well, you've all eaten your fill. It's time for me to begin my work, so please remain quiet. Tengaku did not dismiss the other two, as his tasks were merely straightforward assessments. Moreover, he intended to seize the opportunity of war to explore and gather further resources. Employing the peacock technique, Tengaku formed a hand seal, enveloped in a soft green chakra that flowed along his arm and enveloped Nagato. The peacock technique was a ninjutsu he had mastered in the land of bears, where a meteorite imbued chakra with vitality, a capability he found remarkably impressive. Through his clandestine studies, he discovered that the meteorite's radioactivity possessed potent active enzymes and ionic solutions. Its intensity could awaken the unconscious energies of nature, theoretically. Even stones and metals, subjected to the meteorite's relentless radiation, could evolve into new life forms, showcasing the meteorite's formidable nature. Although the body mitigated the radioactivity through chakra during absorption, the corrosive effect on the flesh could overwhelm frail cellular structures, resulting in explosive demise. Thus, this radiative energy was lethal to the weak, yet a panacea for the strong. Fortuitously, Tengaku's body, having been enhanced by natural energy and his own development, had attained the legendary sage body, perfectly suited to withstand the meteorite's intensity. Through innovative application, he harnessed the meteorite's properties, endowing his cells with a potent capacity for beneficial assimilation and malignant exclusion. In essence, benevolent genes are assimilated, while malignant ones are automatically eradicated. However, should anyone dare to indiscriminately absorb his flesh and blood, the genes will instantaneously dissolve into a state of quantum nothingness. At that moment, the chakra emanating from him replaced his vision, endlessly traversing through Nagato's cells. Within the myriad of bodily cells, the diverse molecular genes revealed their operational principles before his eyes. Within Nagato's cells, he discovered the 9th chromosome in a colossal form, while the 19th chromosome contained several anomalous and mysterious genes, exceeding those of an ordinary individual. This piqued his curiosity. Did Nagato harbor some secret? Despite the apparent unnaturalness of these genes, he resolved to explore further. Using active chakra, Dou Chen Guang attempted to stimulate these genes, seeking a reaction. Ah, Nagato! Yahiko's exclamation resonated. Concurrently, a repulsive force suddenly surged from Nagato, expanding outward. The wind released a powerful torrent. Fortunately, Dou Chen Guang had a habit of remaining vigilant of his surroundings. In an instant, he shielded Yahiko and Konan from the approaching repulsion. A whirlwind manifested before them, redirecting the oncoming force upward. With a resounding crash, the lakeside cabin was shattered to pieces, leaving the four drenched and disheveled. Following the unexpected turn of events, Dou Chen Guang led Yahiko and the others back to the cave. At that moment, Nagato lay upon a clean wooden plank, his countenance serene. Yet traces of blood lingered at the corners of his eyes. You scoundrel! Did you not say there was no danger? What have you done to Nagato? Yahiko glared furiously. Although he had nearly met his demise at Nagato's hands moments before, he could not restrain his ire towards Dou Chen Guang, who stood there nonchalantly, still masked. He is merely unconscious. Furthermore, I mentioned there is no life-threatening danger, not that there are no risks at all. After stating this, he disregarded Yahiko and Konan, meticulously examining Nagato's condition. He recalled that the moment Nagato fell unconscious was when he had been attempting to stimulate Nagato's eyes. Was there something peculiar about them? Dou Chen Guang parted Nagato's crimson hair and lifted his eyelids, revealing a pair of extraordinary eyes, from which concentric ripples seemed to emanate outward. What is this? I feel as though I have encountered this in some book before. Suppressing his intrigue, he resolved to dry their clothes first, for falling ill would pose an additional complication. Utilizing the boiling release technique, Dou Chen Guang formed hand seals, and with his precise control, he instantaneously rendered their garments dry. Is this ninjutsu? How trivial, merely drying clothes. Yahiko scoffed. What, do you look down upon this ninjutsu? Dou Chen Guang retorted. When you can achieve the same feat, then perhaps you may lecture me. That's easy for you to say. If I could, I would do it too. Yahiko exclaimed. Ah, so this little fellow employs provocation. Dou Chen Guang unflinchingly countered. Do not engage in petty tricks. It holds little significance. I wish to protect Konan and Nagato, as well as my companions nearby. Please teach me. Dou Chen Guang suddenly realized that Yahiko was quite persistent, for he genuinely grasped the importance of both holding on and letting go. You cannot protect them. You may be strong, yet there are those even stronger than you. How long can you truly offer protection? Thus, I implore you to become even more formidable. I yearn to witness no more sorrow or tears. Yahiko bent low, earnestly beseeching. The ninjas beyond the village returned time and again, not merely to harm the innocent, but to lay waste to the village. War has rendered the people of this nation helpless, their cries echoing in despair. I understand that war is inevitable, yet my desire remains to safeguard everyone, to shield this nation. Yahiko's eyes shone with unwavering determination and fervor, undaunted by Dou Chen Guang's scrutiny. Ninja Master, please teach us the art of ninjutsu. I am willing to undergo any trials you set forth, to serve as your willing subject. Please instruct Yahiko and Konan. As long as I possess the power to bring forth peace, I shall fear no pain. I implore you. At that moment, Nagato awakened, his voice trembling with emotion. His peculiar eyes brimmed with compassion for suffering and an intense yearning for peace. Dou Chen Guang offered no reply, merely gazing at the desolate ruins beyond. The faces of the apathetic weathered by hardship. How many innocents would fall victim to this war? Dou Chen Guang turned his gaze to the trio. The recent incident had not diminished the bond of their friendship. Their eyes reflected only a longing for peace, devoid of any anger or resentment towards their own misfortunes. Mastering ninjutsu is arduous. Prepare yourself for the specter of death. Should you ever wield power that begets suffering, I will personally extinguish your lives. Yes, master. The war rages on. To impart knowledge to Yahiko and the others, he was compelled to linger within the village. In a small settlement of the Land of Rain, the young men had been mercilessly claimed by war, leaving behind orphans and the elderly. Their expressions were vacant, cold, devoid of hope, merely leaning against tattered doors and windows. Gazing into the distance, war is utterly abhorrent. Konan furrowed her elegant brows, revealing her distress. I must grow strong to protect everyone. Nagato, will you assist me? Indeed. Nagato's eyes were covered with a strip of cloth, a remedy provided by Dou Chen Guang to effectively heal the wounds inflicted by excessive use of his ocular powers. Nagato, how did you acquire your eyes? Do you remember? In recent days, Dou Chen Guang had meticulously examined Nagato's eyes, easily discerning anomalies through his mastery of chakra. Weren't they innate? A birthright? Such a delightful thought. I shan't delve into the complexities of human genetic structure. Let me offer a simple analogy. If the leader of the Rain Village's summoning beast, the salamander, approached you claiming to be your familiar, would you believe it? No, for I cannot control the salamander. Indeed, those eyes surpass the salamander's prowess. Do you believe your current strength could evolve to possess their capabilities? In my humble understanding, all things exist under the law of equivalent exchange. Energy remains conserved. To possess these eyes, you must wield an equal measure of energy to command them. Moreover, within your body, there are unmistakable signs of human intervention. The three individuals immediately felt a surge of tension, although their acquaintance with Dou Chen Guang had been brief. His candid demeanor had always been apparent. Even in experiments, he expressed himself through the medium of trade, leaving no room for deceit. Thus, who could be harboring ulterior motives towards Nagato? The shinobi world, a realm rife with peril and intrigue, where the lives of the less fortunate, like them, were of little consequence. Now that a glimmer of hope had finally emerged, they were determined to grasp it firmly. Teacher, could you assist in alleviating Nagato's peril? Yahiko inquired. The resolution seemed straightforward. Simply remove the threat. However, the complication arose from the possibility that if someone truly wished to target Nagato, they would not relent easily. Thus, they remained in latent danger. Focus on your training from now on. At the very least, acquire the ability to protect yourselves. Training? Finally, can we commence learning ninjutsu? The trio was filled with aspirations of becoming ninjas, already fantasizing about grand battles despite not having begun their training. Let us start refining chakra tomorrow, for it is the cornerstone of all ninjutsu. Today, I shall devise a training regimen for you. Now, go enjoy yourselves, for starting tomorrow, it shall not be this easy. Yea, tomorrow, we too shall be ninjas, exclaimed Konan with delight. Ninjas? Dou Chen Guang shook his head. It is not as simple as that. You will soon understand the hardships of training. From the following day, Dou Chen Guang commenced instructing them on chakra refinement, employing a method distinct from traditional practices. Traditionally, one would meditate to harness spiritual energy, perceive cellular structures, extract energy from within, and then release it in a specific ratio. This constituted chakra. However, Dou Chen Guang's technique was an innovation of his own, developed through rigorous physical training. Following such exertion, the mind would enter a brief state of clarity, during which thoughts would flow with remarkable speed. Mastering the utilization of this period could yield significant personal advancement. Push yourselves. Do not stop, whether using axes, long knives, or your fists. Make use of any tools you find comfortable. Today, you must construct your dwelling. Teacher, we can reside in a cave. It's no problem, Yahiko said with a grimace while chopping wood. If you cannot even manage your own abode, how can you pursue anything further? This is part of your training. You must exhaust your stamina before sunset. Tonight, I will teach you to refine chakra. Should I find your progress unsatisfactory, the instruction will be indefinitely postponed. You shall commence only when you meet the requirements. The trio sighed in unison. Do not sigh. Do not wear frowns. My method demands a vibrant spirit. If your morale is low, the effectiveness will diminish significantly, if not become entirely ineffective. So, lift your spirits, smile, and activate your mental energy. Do you understand? Yes. However, we have little to rejoice about. How can we be happy? Nagato remarked, contemplating one's desires, aspirations for the future, and personal dreams. It is imperative to maintain an exuberant spirit. Observing the diligent efforts of the three individuals, Dou Chen Guang himself did not remain idle. Lacking invincibility instilled a sense of insecurity within him, prompting a commitment to further exertion. Time slipped away quietly. During this period, aside from instructing them on chakra refinement, he also imparted knowledge on chakra application and techniques, all fundamental for their future endeavors. Teacher, will we be farming today? On that morning, the three gazed at Dou Chen Guang with expressions of distress. In their minds, ninjas were not merely skilled in throwing shurikens or executing fire and water techniques, but rather they envisioned mastering dazzling jutsu. Instead, they found themselves engaged in the arduous task of transplanting rice seedlings, utilizing chakra to tread through the water, squatting in a horse stance while working. Could this truly be the life of a ninja? Doubts filled their hearts as they looked at Dou Chen Guang. With their foundational skills yet to be established, they yearned to learn ninjutsu. Now that you possess chakra, I ask you, even if I were to grant you a simple fire technique, would you be capable of unleashing it? Reflect on this and do not aim too high. Alas, why is it that they could never win an argument against their teacher? The three exchanged resigned glances, realizing that being a ninja was more challenging than anticipated. Furthermore, this was an opportune moment to labor while simultaneously building a solid foundation, contemplating the causes of current conflicts and the application of chakra. They began to understand that every occurrence carries its rationale, and they must learn to think independently, discerning the underlying principles, without even the most basic form of protection. How could they safeguard the villagers? Did they truly wish to seize through warfare? Dou Chen Guang, masked and serious in tone, declared that since he had resolved to educate them, he could not merely teach destructive techniques, he must also instill proper ideologies. Those who reside above, ignorant of the struggles of the lower classes, cannot fathom their suffering. Of course not, teacher. We will study earnestly. The trio promptly corrected themselves, acknowledging that although they were fatigued, their current circumstances were far superior to their past. Moreover, they trusted that this individual would not harm them. His insistence on labor surely held purpose. Thus, a peculiar scene unfolded in the village. For children, not yet fully grown, toiled in the rain-soaked fields, planting rice seedlings. Every morning, they diligently set out to work, and each evening, they returned home, weary yet playful. Over time, this phenomenon inspired those who had lost hope and become apathetic to gradually engage in labor within their own fields. Indeed, although warfare had devastated families, those who survived ought to strive to live more vigorously. Time, imperceptibly, slipped away during their training. In the 40th year of the Hidden Leaf, several years had passed since the conclusion of the Second Ninja War. The conflict had left the ninja world engulfed in flames, with corpses scattered and the specter of hunger and disaster haunting the lower-class populace. After more than 3 years of rigorous training, Yahiko and his companions had developed considerable strength. Particularly, after being assigned new genes, they gained significant inherent advantages, and their potential for growth was elevated. Though merely around 8 years of age, they already possessed the prowess of elite Chunin. Xiao Nan and Yahiko underwent a surgical transformation of their cellular genes, incorporating the active cells of the golden and silver horns. Though they did not manifest the characteristic dual horns, their combat synergy was remarkable, facilitated by cellular resonance. Nagato's Uzumaki lineage was fully developed and combined with the new genes. He was indeed empowered. Generally, when facing lower-ranking ninjas, it was Yahiko who resolved matters independently. However, against elite ninjas, they united their efforts. Only in the face of overwhelming odds would Dou Chen Guang personally engage in battle. This time, Dou Chen Guang brought the trio near Sunagakure to enhance their practical combat abilities, as he sought to study ninjutsu and gather experimental materials. For the past 2 years, they had followed Dou Chen Guang across various battlefields. Although the war had temporarily ceased, minor skirmishes frequently erupted, and underground bounty missions were abundant. Clad in their respective masks, they moved with grace and agility, cautiously probing their surroundings. On this occasion, they had accepted a bounty mission to hunt down a targeted ninja. A Chunin led a team to the south, while 2 additional Chunins lay in ambush to the southeast, totaling 12 individuals. The bounty target was confirmed, and Yahiko was tasked with making a decision. Each of the trio possessed distinct specialties. Xiao Nan excelled in reconnaissance with her adept paper jutsu transformations, making her the ideal scout. Yahiko, responsible for offensive maneuvers, was meticulous and bold in his planning, often reaping the rewards from risky situations. Lastly, Nagato, whose physique was suited for close combat, also had a talent for healing ninjutsu. Although the concept of unified medical ninjas had yet to be established among the villages, Dou Chen Guang had still imparted lessons on their coordination. The teacher had once stated that in any endeavor, one must first consider potential failures and traps, preparing for a safe retreat. Nagato, it's up to you. Rest assured. Nagato replied earnestly, forming hand seals. Ninjutsu, reconnaissance. A life detection magnetic field emanated from Nagato, revealing any living entities within its reach. He nodded to his companions. Yahiko immediately activated his body flicker technique, leaping into the air and descending swiftly. With rapid hand seals, he unleashed, fire style, great fireball technique. Simultaneously, he executed a simple ninjutsu with his feet in midair. Wind style, gale force. Indeed, Yahiko was capable of releasing ninjutsu even while airborne. A colossal fireball engulfed the area, followed by a delicate gust of wind chakra that swelled the fireball to an impressive 100-meter radius. Damn it, this is a recently emerged bounty hunter from Akatsuki. The Sand Ninja, having conducted thorough intelligence gathering, recognized the distinct dual ninjutsu technique. However, as an elite Chunin, he was undeterred, organizing his team for a counterattack. Wind style, great breakthrough. All members executed the same ninjutsu, attempting to disperse the flames with wind pressure. A massive wave of wind surged upward, but Xiaonin would not allow them to succeed. Paper jutsu, paper sword slash. With a resounding crash, the wind pressure was sliced into fragments, dissipating into the air. A thunderous explosion erupted, claiming the lives of all but the 3 Chunins. Concurrently, Nagato faced another squad alone. The Akatsuki, we remain unbothered by your affairs. However, should you choose to wade through murky waters, you must consider whether you can withstand the retribution from our Sunagakure. The Sand Ninja have yet to act hastily. These individuals are even more formidable than reported. If the intelligence were not erroneous, then these individuals have matured at an astonishing rate. Moreover, given the current circumstances, it remains uncertain whether one can retreat unscathed. I regret to inform you that your bounty is quite substantial. As long as we eliminate the traces, who could possibly ascertain our involvement? Furthermore, You have undoubtedly taken the lives of numerous innocent villagers, have you not? That leaves no room for negotiation. Will you seek vengeance for those innocents? Perhaps, but war should not entangle too many blameless souls. You are exceedingly naive. Fire style, blade of flame. Yahiko soared into action, adhering to the principle learned over the years, to act rather than speak. His long sword, engulfed in flames, surged forward, utilizing both body flicker technique and shadow clone technique with remarkable finesse. In that moment, he matched the elite Chunin of Sunagakure with impressive prowess. Damn the Akatsuki. Their control is not akin to that of mere children. Where did these individuals emerge from without a whisper of warning? The Chunin of the Wind Country seethed internally. The fierce battle involving Yahiko did not distract the other two, due to the relative weakness of their opponents. Nagato and Konan had already dispatched 2 Chunin and stood guard nearby. In the shade of the trees, the two were engaged in hushed conversation. Nagato, how have you fared with the medical ninjutsu? Konan inquired softly while observing the battlefield. It's going well, although I have not reached the level of our teacher. It surpasses the average medical ninjutsu significantly. Years ago, during their traverse across the battlefield with DZ, they fortuitously encountered a clash between Konoha and Sunagakure. The Konoha side had triggered an explosive trap, with the sole survivor being a child. It was then that they witnessed DZ's miraculous active chakra healing technique. Even in the face of death, that child was rescued from the brink. Subsequently, Nagato took on the responsibility of the squad's healer, seizing opportunities to practice medical ninjutsu. Having witnessed the brutality of war far too often, they no longer had time for sorrow. The grief of the battlefield held no significance. However, just moments ago, I sensed that our teacher seemed to have departed this place. Nagato's voice was grave, although they had never seen DZ's visage. His youthful appearance did not diminish their respect for him. Departure was merely a prelude to their next reunion, as the teacher often said. I believe that as long as we draw breath, there shall come a day when we meet again. As Konan spoke, she bore the demeanor of a young adult. In their eyes, there was no despair, fear, or panic. Only unwavering conviction and a resolute goal ahead. With a blood-curdling scream, the battle concluded with Yahiko's victory. Let us proceed. Though our teacher has departed, our dreams are merely beginning, and we must not squander his nurturing. Under DZ's careful guidance, they had learned to navigate the treacherous world of shinobi with caution. Not long after the trio departed, a squad of Konoha ninjas pursued them, led by none other than Orochimaru, one of the legendary Sannin. Not long ago, upon hearing a commotion, he approached, but ultimately arrived too late. However, the deceased were all from the Sand Village, which brought him some solace. At least they were not foes from the Leaf Village. He believed the pursuers could not have gone far. Orochimaru deliberately chose a seemingly random direction and followed suit. As long as they were not a threat to the Leaf Village, he knew how to eliminate any troubles. Once he confirmed that Yahiko and the others had developed a degree of survival capability, Dou Chen Guang felt reassured enough to depart. The fledgling hawk yearns to soar high in the sky, but must endure countless trials, a journey they must undertake on their own. Dou Chen Guang, with wings fashioned from the peacock's divine technique, soared through the air, observing all beneath him. While several nations had ostensibly ceased hostilities, beneath the surface, chaos reigned, and bloodshed and violence had long since frayed the nerves of those shinobi. Many young ninjas, due to their fragile psyches, teetered on the brink of collapse. The indulgence of the leading shinobi only exacerbated this bloodthirsty state. They resorted to the slaughter of civilians to temporarily alleviate the stress on their comrades, aiming to exert fleeting control over their forces. Dou Chen Guang beheld this grim scene, although his affliction dulled his emotions. Rational analysis revealed that such warfare would ultimately culminate in destruction. Thus, he resolved to nurture Yahiko and his companions, who harbored dreams of peace, lacking only the strength and opportunities to realize them. Passing through the Leaf Village, Dou Chen Guang did not linger. His destination was the Uzumaki clan. According to the intelligence he had gathered, the situation for this clan was dire. His mother hailed from the Uzumaki clan, and during his years of wandering, he had received much kindness from the village. Therefore, once he assured the safety of Yahiko and the others, he planned to journey tirelessly toward them, hoping to arrive in time. The high-altitude winds tousled his crimson hair, and he fully harnessed the wings formed by the peacock's divine technique. Below, in the hidden village of the Uzumaki, clansmen scurried about, explosions echoed throughout, and the ground was stained with crimson blood, collapsed houses, the cries of children, and the shouts of enemies intermingled to create a hellish tableau. Elder, has Leaf Village sent reinforcements? An anxious clan member inquired. The Leaf Village had responded that they could not spare any personnel. The elder, his grizzled beard matted with dust and blood, his breath ragged, concealed his somber visage in shadow. He understood. The Leaf had given up hope. Their clan possessed formidable sealing techniques but lacked the means to protect them. A realization that came too late. Elder, Chen Guang has arrived. What does he want? The war is so brutal. Hurry and send him away with the younglings. We old ones shall hold the rear. Let any who can escape do so. But he claims he is here to assist. This clan member hesitated. Having witnessed Dou Chen Guang descend from the heavens, he knew the boy defied conventional judgment, yet felt reluctant to contradict the elder, just as he wrestled with his dilemma. Dou Chen Guang had already entered. Elder, I have come to help. You cannot allow me to leave in disgrace. Humph, your assistance is unnecessary. You should hasten to join your kin. Your intentions are commendable, nonetheless. Although he seems to dismiss the boy, the elder's expression reflects a sense of pride. When this child first wandered here, he had the opportunity to learn some sealing techniques due to his mother's affiliation with the Uzumaki clan. In comparison to other children, Xiao Qingguang's innate talent was overwhelmingly superior. The clan leader even considered nurturing him to become the next leader. Regrettably, the boy sought a healing ninjutsu and departed. Who would have imagined that in this moment of crisis, he would return? Now is not the time for delays. Elder, allow me to hold the rear. This is not up for discussion. You are well aware of my disposition. In 5 minutes, I shall launch an attack. You must take the boat along the coast, traverse the land of rivers, and then penetrate deep into the wind country. Given the truce among the 5 nations, the coastal defenses are exceedingly lax. And as long as you maintain a safe distance from the border guards, you can pass unnoticed. With the resilience of the Uzumaki clan, finding an oasis should ensure your survival. You still possess that stubborn nature, don't you? Before I could finish my sentence, Dou Chen Guang had already vanished. Indeed, he was merely here to bid farewell. Time is of the essence. Every moment must be cherished. If we do not inform them, they would certainly not relocate for reasons unknown. Now, there is no longer any safe haven for the Uzumaki clan. Dou Chen Guang eliminated hostile ninjas along the way as he approached the coast, the only remaining lifeline for the Uzumaki clan. The enemy ninjas were evidently aware of this too. Fearing the escape of the Uzumaki, numerous sand, cloud, and rock ninjas, along with those from various small ninja villages, had encircled the Uzumaki village. Dou Chen Guang's cold gaze, masked yet piercing, scrutinized the calamity that had befallen his village. Your leisurely time has come to an end. Let us create a commotion today. Wind style, great breakthrough. There is still one Uzumaki here. Seize him. Soon, a ninja noticed him, calling upon his comrades who surged forth. I have been waiting for you. Do not expect to escape easily today. Fire style, peacock. Dou Chen Guang swept his hands outward, sending droplets of vibrant magma flying from the chains, each drop landing upon a ninja. This was a sealing technique he had developed by merging it with the peacock method. Damn, this lava fire is a sealing technique. I can no longer use chakra. Dou Chen Guang was not one to hesitate. He charged forward, the chains dancing like serpents, piercing through ninjas or sweeping them aside mercilessly, instilling fear in the remaining foes who dared not advance. If you will not seek me out, then I shall come for you. With the body flicker technique, a flurry of afterimages appeared. For those below the Ch-Nin level, their demise came before they even caught a glimpse of his form. In no time, the ninjas scattered in panic. What is happening? Is the enemy retreating? It seems we have underestimated that boy. Let us remember this debt of gratitude. Prepare for evacuation. Do not dawdle. Board the ship swiftly, for this place is no longer suitable for our survival. The elders convened with the clan leader, summarizing the current situation, and unanimously resolved to migrate towards the desert. They were not foolish. They understood that if they did not depart now, they might find it impossible to leave in the future. The departure of the Whirlpool Clan was not to be mentioned. As the lesser ninja and lower-tier shinobi fell, the enemy's numbers were rapidly diminishing, an occurrence that soon captured the attention of the elite shinobi from several great nations. What is happening? Everyone is gathering here. With our elite shinobi present, what is there to fear? Observing the chaotic downfall of the Sand Village, one elite shinobi swiftly allied with a few others, maintaining an unspoken agreement to act in concert, for before any potential gains were visible, they were bound by a tacit alliance. Led by Captain Saburo, a Whirlpool ninja charged forward, having attained the rank of elite shinobi. What is there to fear? We have 3 elite shinobi and 1 special elite among us. Let us form our ranks. In the midst of the chaos, the anxious ninjas found their resolve, rallying together. especially the wandering and lesser village ninjas who were now thoroughly intimidated, retreating timidly despite their numbers. "Is there any intelligence on the enemy's jutsu?" inquired a rock ninja with a spiky hairstyle. The crowd exchanged glances. They were merely there to seize opportunities and sow chaos, possessing no relevant intelligence. They were not from the great ninja villages. Upon witnessing a retreat, they followed suit, with those lagging behind already perishing. "Captain Sho, the enemy, is approaching. Perfect timing. Allow me to confront them personally," the rock ninja Sho proclaimed with pride, stepping forward to meet the incoming adversaries. As the hostile ninjas surged forward, Dou Chen Guang's adamant and chains remained unyielded, relentlessly pursuing the fleeing ninjas. However, the majority of the remaining enemy shinobi began to converge in a singular direction. It appeared there was no need to search them out one by one. Even from a distance, he sensed a potent chakra surging towards him. Is it merely one Whirlpool Clan member? I suggest you summon more of your kin, lest you meet a swift demise. The rock ninja, adorned in his distinctive garb, dismissed the meaningless chatter of Dou Chen Guang. In the throes of battle, acquiring sufficient intelligence was paramount to ensure victory, rather than indulging in idle banter. Ninjutsu, reconnaissance. This observation technique, akin to the Byakugan, while not possessing its far-reaching sight, excelled in analyzing the opponent's abilities. The adversary's chakra was not merely of one type. Assessing the fusion indicated a bloodline limit, earth and lightning, perhaps. It seemed the rock ninja was determined to claim victory over the Whirlpool Clan. "Not speaking, are we? Then let me witness what your Whirlpool Umbu is capable of." The rock ninja furrowed his brow, bellowing as he unleashed a rapid barrage of punches. Dou Chen Guang's adamant and chains whipped forward, conjuring droplets of molten rock to shield him. Boom! A series of explosions erupted, thick smoke billowing forth, from which a figure emerged. Drawing near to Dou Chen Guang once more. Your techniques are futile against me. I wield explosive release capable of obliterating everything. Prepare to die, brat. Explosive release. Earth Thunder Fist. Boom. Dou Chen Guang's chains were repelled, and the sealing technique's lava dissipated in vain. He leapt backward, perching atop a grand tree. Gazing down as he spoke, "The explosive release technique is indeed remarkable, yet it seems you have squandered its potential. Today appears to bring an unexpected delight." Earth Release, Earth Ghost. As the seals were formed, the ground beneath the rock ninja suddenly gave way, a formidable force pulling him deep into the soil. With audacious bravado, he proclaimed, "Shatter me to pieces." Just as the explosive release was about to unleash its fury, Dou Chen Guang clasped his hands together. Earth Release, Earth Ghost Hunt. The Earth attribute chakra intertwined, twisting as the rock ninja's head sank lower. Bang! A piece of wood fell to the ground. A substitution technique, perhaps? It seems that the J-Nin remains a challenging adversary. You have truly infuriated me, little imp. Prepare to meet your end. Explosive Release, Earthquake Fist. The rock ninja, fueled by explosive release, pursued from the trees, the sounds of battle echoing in a relentless cacophony, yet neither side could gain the upper hand. Explosive Release Hunt. It appears this target is ripe for the taking. I gave you a chance, but you failed to seize it. With a flurry of sounds, dozens of ninjas surrounded Dou Chen Guang under the leadership of two J-Nin. One faction was led by the Rock Hidden Village, boasting a multitude of recruited wandering ninjas and lesser village ninjas, while the other was commanded by Saburo's Sand Ninjas, ultimately joined by Troy's Cloud Ninjas. Today is indeed fortunate. That Cloud Ninja with a scroll in his mouth, are you a bloodline ninja? Observing the chakra elements, he is also a magnetism release ninja. Though the nature of his abilities remains a mystery, magnetism can manifest in wondrous forms. This bloodline limit ninja offered no response, clearly a decisive type. Dou Chen Guang, having fought the Whirlpool Clan for so long, noted the presence of 3 J-Nin, 2 bloodline limits, and 1 elite J-Nin. Truly, the foundation of a great village is formidable. Let us resolve this swiftly, or we shall incur significant losses today. Shadow Shuriken Technique. In an instant, the piercing whir of shurikens filled the air as shadow shurikens unleashed a torrential assault, enveloping Dou Chen Guang from all sides, leaving no avenue for retreat. Wind Release. Great Breakthrough. Boom. The sound of air being instantaneously evacuated resonated, leaving all present with ringing ears and blurred vision. Is this truly Wind Release? Great Breakthrough? In a heartbeat, a vacuum formed around him, launching all incoming attacks away with wind chakra. It was uncertain how many had fallen to their own shurikens. This technique had redefined its understanding. Observing the apprehensive expressions of those around him, Troy urgently commanded, "Do not hesitate. Charge together." With that, He was the first to launch 2 sizable shurikens. Clang, clang, clang. Ha! Magnetism release. Hornet's dual blades. Whoosh. 2 gigantic shurikens materialized, spinning menacingly towards their target. Clang, clang. Dou Chen Guang did not underestimate the bloodline ninja's assault, especially since he was a Nin. The initial shurikens carried a unique chakra, and although they were deflected, it was evident that any contact with them would yield effects. Just as he prepared to continue his offensive, a whirling sound approached. Clang. Ineffective. You are now locked onto by my attack. Whirlpool Dark Division. My bloodline limit allows me to generate a magnetic field attraction towards any object or life I have touched. Magnetic escape, double-edged blade. Explosive escape, landmine fist. Surrounding ninjas relentlessly assisted Troy, continuing to control the giant shuriken's assault. Clang. Although Dou Chen Guang's ceiling chain dance was impenetrable, the 3 elite ninjas were no pushovers. The relentless barrage of shuriken showed no signs of ceasing. These rascals were indeed well prepared. While he was not currently worried about his chakra levels, his physical constitution was ultimately lacking. He understood the principle that enduring such intense attacks for too long would inevitably lead to failure. He needed to devise a way to break the stalemate. Dou Chen Guang's gaze flickered with determination. It seemed he would have to reveal some of his hidden cards. In that case, do not blame me for taking your lives. The true essence of a reckless man. His true nature was one of unpredictable temperament, fierce and valiant. In the blink of an eye, Dou Chen Guang's dense crimson hair enveloped his double horns, cascading down to his waist, flowing in the wind, transforming him into a towering figure of muscular might. He employed a secret technique, intending to interrupt his attack, but it was too late. Wind release, tornado breakthrough. A whirlwind enveloped his body, shielding him from all shuriken. Seizing the opportunity, Dou Chen Guang soared upwards, emerging from the eye of the tornado and directly charging towards Troy. Cease the ninjutsu attacks. He has already emerged from above. Although Troy could not see Dou Chen Guang, his shuriken autonomously adjusted their trajectory, pursuing upwards. He realized that the vortex's dark element had indeed emerged. The speed had increased drastically. We cannot keep up. Now it was not only speed, but also physical strength, fatigue recovery, and sensory control that had been significantly enhanced, allowing Dou Chen Guang to effortlessly surpass their visual limits. First, eliminate the troublesome foe. Ninjutsu, arrow. A piercing shriek echoed instantaneously. Before Troy could react, he felt a sealing chain embedded in his chest, severely wounding his physical body and rendering his chakra unusable. The first bloodline limit. Capture successful. After sealing Troy, Dou Chen Guang's magnetic shuriken automatically cleared away, allowing him to harvest amidst the ninja's horrified reactions. Too fast. Think of a solution. Earth release, Yellow Spring Marsh. Unfortunately, it was futile. Dou Chen Guang's current speed meant that not even a withered branch could impede his assault, rendering their efforts to restrain him ineffective and complicating their own position further. Ninjutsu, shield. Boom. Alas, this explosive escape returned empty-handed. All techniques of the vortex sealing style inherently possessed sealing capabilities. Any physical contact with the chain would passively seal chakra. Only physical attacks through martial arts would prove effective. The second bloodline limit. Capture successful. The villagers of the vortex had all been relocated, leaving the remaining ninjas drawn towards this location. The smoke of battle had yet to dissipate, but the fervor of combat had already cooled. Saburo's gaze could barely keep up with Dou Chen Guang's movement speed. Yet his body could not respond in kind. The speed was too swift. The deaths of the ninjas pierced his heart like a multitude of sharp blades. Damn it. Too fast. Let us end this suffering together. Wind release, blade of wind. The wind transforms into a razor's edge, skillfully manipulated by Saburo. Disregard the temporal discrepancies. History is not immutable, as the slightest flutter of a butterfly's wings can unleash a tempest upon the ninja realm. Observing the injured lying amidst the forest, he recalls a past moment. At that time, he was in a quaint village, seeking out intriguing ninjutsu to master. Thus, he employed the Eye of Stars to covertly observe, only to inadvertently falter. He encountered a Konoha ninja in training, whose mental prowess surpassed that of ordinary individuals. The instant their gazes met, he was detected, yet fortunately, the other did not pursue him. However, amid the smoke-laden forest, Dou Chen Guang was silently suturing Kato's wounds within a soundproof barrier. Although he possessed the ability to stimulate his own cell's regeneration using the peacock method, such an action would ultimately shorten Kato's lifespan. Hence, rather than cellular regeneration, he opted for an alternative approach, utilizing the organs of others as substitutes. Fortunately, he had 2 suitable specimens on hand, making the subsequent procedure relatively straightforward. With the active chakra facilitating the connection, the final step was to heal the wounds, thus completing the transaction. Meanwhile, in the land of fire, within the Hokage's office, the third Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen, clad in the Hokage robe, was listening to Kato's team report. So, you did not witness the surgery firsthand. And Kato was in a state of unconsciousness at that time? Indeed, Tsunade later conducted her own examination and confirmed there were no after effects. We remain unaware of the ninjutsu he employed. I understand. You have worked hard during this battle. Now, go and rest well. As for this enigmatic ninja, we will inform you once a plan is devised. In the toxic fumes of Hell Valley, Yahiko and his companions were diligently training their chakra, following Dou Chen Guang's instructions. They were required to visit monthly, ensuring they shed any trailing pursuers. Indeed, unbeknownst to them, the keenly perceptive Nagato had sensed a tail following them for some time. Although he had not identified the pursuer, he was certain they were being tracked. What they did not realize was that the shadow had appeared long ago, previously concealed by Dou Chen Guang. Suddenly, an explosion echoed around Dou Chen Guang. At the moment of sealing the chakra, Konan had detonated the miniature explosive tags concealed within her paper jutsu, the force of the blast causing his magnetic field to falter, momentarily impairing his control over his form. An opportunity. Although Nagato had been launched away by the initial impact, his physique had significantly improved. Thus, the blow merely left him with minor injuries. Currently, his primary offensive techniques comprised wind release, sealing jutsu, and medical ninjutsu, with his trump card being the village hidden in the rain. Nestled within a region perpetually shrouded in rainy seasons, copious rainwater ultimately converged into the inland lake of the Rain Village, within the rocky caverns by the lakeshore. Over a dozen ninjas stood prepared for action. Yahiko gazed upon these comrades who shared his ideals. When they initially established Akatsuki, it was merely the three of them. Throughout their journey, others had intermittently joined or perished, leaving only this small band of survivors. Their strength may not be formidable, yet their resolve remains unwavering. After a moment of contemplation, Yahiko spoke in a low voice. For the sake of peace, the lightning pillar technique can envelop Nagato in a dazzling display of electricity, leading the opponent to mistakenly perceive it as a mere hindrance to their vision, thus seamlessly falling prey to this illusion. Of course, such trivial tactics would not escape the keen senses of a ninja of Shimura Danzo's caliber. However, as Nagato unleashed the lightning pillar, he swiftly closed the distance to Danzo. The purpose behind his illusionary technique was merely to create a fleeting opening. He sensed an unusual surge of chakra emanating from Danzo's right arm and eye. To avoid protracted complications, Nagato resolved to strike with remarkable swiftness. Clang, clang, clang. Yahiko's flame blade clashed with Hanzo's chain scythe, both combatants engaging in a rapid exchange, each sustaining injuries. In a flash of swordsmanship, Hanzo, wielding a poisoned scythe, surged forward with blinding speed. Frustrated by his dwindling patience, Hanzo resorted to a decisive technique aimed at resolving the battle in an instant. Flame sword slash. Yahiko's breath quickened. While Hanzo was drenched in blood, his mask shattered. His body had contorted grotesquely under Yahiko's relentless assault. Yet, Yahiko's mastery of the blade was not yet complete. Konan, I shall take a look. Leaving Danzo behind, Nagato hastened towards Yahiko. You shall not pass. Wind release, vacuum wave. The vacuum wave unleashed several scythe-like gusts, capable of severing not only the flesh of the enemy, but also their chakra. By harnessing the Dream Beast's pulling force, the power of the vacuum wave was further amplified. In the land of fire, within the Hokage's office, Shimura Danzo, having lost an arm and an eye, recounted the details of this operation. His empty sleeve flapped against his waist, while his remaining left hand gesticulated fervently. As you can see, the ambitions of the Akatsuki organization have become glaringly apparent. For the peace of our village, we must strike preemptively and eradicate them completely. Shall you remain indifferent to the grievances of the Umbu and my own lost limbs? Now is not the time, he continued. According to Umbu investigations, the Cloud Ninja are making their latest moves. Time swiftly passes, like a fleeting shadow. We must not linger. Yahiko, Konan, and Nagato, having engaged in a covert ambush a year prior, dedicated themselves to diligent training during this time. Upon confirmation, the flesh Nagato had severed contained the cells of the sage of the ninja world, Shinja Hashirama, and that I belonged to the renowned Uchiha clan Sharingan. After adjustments by Dou Chen, all three integrated Hashirama's cells, resulting in a remarkable enhancement of their physical abilities. Moreover, they were not mere half-formed replicas bearing Hashirama's visage. but rather beings infused with active chakra. Whenever people begin to forget the ravages of war, it invariably reappears before their eyes, whether they wish it to or not, drawing them into its relentless grasp. In the distance, eavesdropping from behind a rock, was the medic, Yakushinon. She had stumbled upon this place by chance, unexpectedly encountering the Akatsuki organization. Driven by her instincts as a spy, she sought to glean valuable intelligence. Regrettably, she underestimated the prowess of these individuals. Upon being exposed by Nagato, she realized the gravity of the situation. Without hesitation, she utilized the body flicker technique to flee. Of course, Dou Chen Guang was acutely aware of their concerns. The recent disappearance of the third Kazekage had reignited the flames of war, which had only recently settled. However, with his formidable strength, he felt confident in leading his companions to safety. As a mentor, it was his duty to support his disciples. Rest assured. Yet, the wandering priestess and pharmacist, Yao Shi Yinai Yu, I am well acquainted with your illustrious name, and now present you with two choices. First, sever ties with Konoha and assist us in managing an orphanage. In return, we shall rescue your loved ones from Konoha. Gulp. Yahiko instinctively stepped back, astounded that he was still alive, truly a miracle. Now that I am the clan leader, if I deem her admirable, then she is indeed admirable. Did you hear that? Lord Toga proudly raised his head, his mane gently swaying. You foul beast. You've sullied my beautiful skin. Watch as I unleash my wind release. This young camel is unaware of Lord Toga's capacity to consume ninjutsu, it seems. Just as Yahiko and the others were about to witness the camel's antics, a resounding crash echoed. A mushroom cloud ascended, and the rocks surrounding Lord Toga trembled for 100 meters. The Uzumaki clan is not numerous, making it quite easy to remember each member. Hence, that chaotic red pepper, akin to a demon, became a figure the Toga family avoided for a considerable time. That little girl must have grown up by now. How peculiar humans are, willing to leave their kin in the village to follow someone they barely know. In response to this observation, Dou Chen Guang remained silent. He possessed a clear objective and paid little heed to matters beyond it, unless they pertained to those he cherished. After clearing the battlefield, Dou Chen Guang departed. To him, it was merely a minor interlude, gaining a ninjutsu that saved his life, and nothing more. Thus, he hastily made his way to Konoha. At dawn, the gates of Konoha stood wide open, with two ninjas stationed outside. Given the wartime circumstances, scrutiny of incoming and outgoing personnel was considerably stringent. Many sought refuge in Konoha, primarily to reunite with relatives, for Konoha, being a large village, offered significantly enhanced security. Soon, it was Dou Chen Guang's turn. He presented his pass. With a swift motion, Kushina emerged from the seal. She had just been shopping when she sensed the Ninetales' agitation and had come to investigate. Dou, brother, you still recognize people at such an age. Yet you're following others around without a care for the villagers' worries? I apologize for causing concern. He replied. I merely found Minato to be a commendable person, so I decided to come and see. Kushina smiled brightly, showing no semblance of sincerity in her apology. Reflecting on his earlier encounter with Kushina during the day, Dou Chen Guang had been contemplating how to address the situation. He had never come into contact with tailed beasts, but given their close bond with Jinchuriki, they must be formidable entities. Lacking any experience in this regard, he could only hope for future opportunities. Let us first attend to the matters at hand. In the stillness of the night, tasks can be accomplished with greater ease. Along the border of the land of earth, Dou Chen Guang stood quietly, the moonlight casting a serene glow above. The time had nearly arrived. In the Hokage's office within Konoha village, the third Hokage, Saratobi Hiruzen, was deeply contemplating the future of the village. You mentioned he took the young Kazekage to the hospital? The third Hokage inquired, drawing on his pipe. While Moonlight Kazekage was not the primary focus of observation, it was essential to remain vigilant toward individuals of uncertain origins. Yet, this Mr. Guang appeared to be merely repaying a debt of gratitude, exhibiting no ulterior motives. If such a bond could foster the healthy growth of Moonlight Kazekage, it would indeed be a positive development. Indeed, it was said that Moonlight Kazekage had been ardently pursuing training with him for 49 years. Time flies, and the years slip by like threads in the loom. Outside, the wind stirred with unusual vigor. Unbeknownst to him, it had been 3 years since his arrival in Konoha. Today, Dou Chen Guang chose not to venture out in search of inspiration, but rather to procure a myriad of festive supplies, adorning the Moonlight residence splendidly. He had also acquired a new grill, for he had heard that Moonlight Kazekage's classmates would be visiting to play, prompting him to prepare an abundance of food. Although Dou Chen Guang lacked experience in such matters, he could discreetly learn from others. After all, ninjutsu was remarkably versatile. Yahiko had been training at Twin Peaks Mountain, and aside from the occasional letter that found its way out, news of his survival was scarce. Meanwhile, due to the ravages of war, several major nations had been embroiled in conflict for years. This time, the 5 great nations clashed, inflicting untold suffering upon the common folk. The Akatsuki organization had since relocated its villagers and headquarters to the border of the Land of Birds. This place had become widely recognized as the Akatsuki's base of operations. In the absence of provocation, the great nations would not risk their reputations by slaughtering innocents, and they publicly proclaimed a policy of isolationism, generally refusing outside interference. In stark contrast to the pressures faced by the Akatsuki, Dou Chen Guang found himself in a more relaxed position. Aside from dedicating most of his time to training and research, he merely needed to spare a moment to make an appearance in Konoha. A gentle drizzle fell incessantly upon the streets and alleys of Konoha. This year marked the 50th anniversary of the village. The Third Great Ninja War seemed far from resolution, with ninjas from the village continually dispatched to the front lines. However, few returned, and the atmosphere within the village grew increasingly tense. Konoha was indeed vast. Aside from the families residing in the village's center, the Moonlight Clan's estate lay nearby. Dou Chen Guang gazed at the group of adolescents before him, cleared his throat, and spoke. Their sacrifices bear significance. They are essential for depleting the enemy's chakra. A necessity of war. Yet, did not the first Hokage proclaim that the youth are the hope for peace, tasked with safeguarding the next generation with their lives? Alas, now the youth are perishing. This sentiment, however, must not reach the ears of the third Hokage. Dou Chen Guang discreetly scanned his surroundings, ensuring no Umbu or Root members were present before continuing. Kakashi and Rin Noara have been delayed. The Mist Umbu have already caught up, and the Three Tails within Rin is on the brink of rampage. Kakashi, end my life swiftly, lest I regret it for all eternity. Yahiko Lin lamented in agony, feeling that she could no longer contain the seal, and the tailed beast was on the verge of emerging. Lin, Kakashi ultimately resolved to end Lin's suffering, for it was the only way to prevent the Three Tails from invading the village. After employing the lightning release to transport Lin away, Dou Chen Guang promptly arrived at Mount Shuangfeng. There, Dou Chen Guang and Tua Yi sipped tea, listening to the distant cries of pain from Yahiko, while discussing the recent state of war in the ninja world. Is this the Three Tails Jinchuriki you speak of? I would indeed like the opportunity to witness the tailed beast. Not yet, Tua Yi cautioned. Once a tailed beast enters a human seal, regardless of the type of seal, it becomes bound to the physical and spiritual essence of the Jinchuriki. If we carelessly extract the tailed beast, the Jinchuriki will perish. Thus, the quest to extract the tailed beast without harming the Jinchuriki began. As Dou Chen Guang tirelessly endeavored to unravel the tailed beast's seal, time flew by unnoticed, and soon it was the end of the year. With snowflakes beginning to fall in Konoha, today was a momentous occasion, as the Third Great Ninja War concluded with Konoha's victory and the warriors returning from the front lines. Along with the village's heroes, would arrive today. Despite the frigid weather, the civilians and ninjas of Konoha had organized a welcoming ceremony to greet the returning heroes. Leading the procession were soldiers bearing the relics, letters, and memorial plaques of the fallen heroes. The welcoming ceremony continued into the evening. In the afternoon, the townsfolk collectively ventured to the cemetery to pay tribute at the memorial stone, while local shops held sales to prepare feasts for the returning warriors. Gradually quieting down by nightfall. Mr. Guang, did you see it today? Lord Minato, the yellow flash, was so magnificent, exclaimed a few young companions, their voices ringing out even before they entered, for nothing inspired their admiration more than the flamboyant Minato Namikaze. My teacher is also quite impressive. He's one of the legendary 3 shinobi of Konoha. Indeed, this individual, if not the mastermind, surely had significant connections to the unfolding events. For these eyes had been known only to himself, Yahiko, Konan, and his teacher since their awakenings, and they had long anticipated that the day would come when they would be sought out. Thus, they had devised a strategy well in advance. If one wished to avoid this murky water, they would need to act accordingly. Indeed, I aspire to create a world filled solely with love and peace. Yet I am acutely aware of my limitations. Hence, I wish to grant you the use of these Rinnegan. Uchiha Obito exclaimed, with a crisp sound. A transparent orb enveloped in intricate patterns floated forth, containing a peculiar turtle, its body covered in spines and boasting 3 tails. Success, Dou Chen Guang proclaimed. For this orb equated to a complete tailed beast, capable of continuously supplying chakra. I truly cannot fathom anything you cannot accomplish, Tuayi remarked with a sense of nostalgia. Since coming to know Dou Chen Guang, whether in searching for Mount Shuangfeng or in pioneering the body flicker technique, he had been nothing short of remarkable. The intense exchange between Jiyu and Dou Chen Guang lasted merely a minute. From the initial physical techniques to the soaring ninjutsu, the rapid succession of movements left onlookers breathless. Contrasting sharply with the slower, more cumbersome hand seals typically employed by lower-ranked ninjas to execute even a single jutsu. As the art of ninjutsu, shunsui, was unleashed by Isifu, the battle progressed into what it perceived as its final phase. However, it was quite fortuitous that he was adept at the secondary transformation of ninjutsu. Dou Chen Guang twisted the fire dragon, which had lost its target, into a blazing rope, directly ensnaring the three tails. The technique of fire release. Fire rope roared with ferocity. Lin Naira, originally a common girl born into an ordinary family, became a ninja after witnessing the brutality of war, resolutely deciding to rescue the injured ninjas on the battlefield. Yet, in a world of peace, one would think that no one would need to venture into combat. Observing her in contemplation, Dou Chen Guang refrained from interrupting. He was more suited to physical domination and the mental exertion required, alongside his companions like Tsukiyakari and Kazakage, was already quite taxing. At that moment, a sealing array he had left behind ignited within the forest of Konoha. Within the immense barrier, Minato Namikaze found himself sidelined. Kushina had mentioned she had a brother, with whom she seldom communicated, and who held a rather unfavorable opinion of him. During the activation of the sealing array, she had also indicated that once the array was activated, her brother would arrive. This left him feeling quite awkward. Initially, he had conferred with Kushina about sealing the Nine Tails Yang chakra within Naruto. Thus, even in the event of their sacrifice, Naruto, as the Jinchuriki, would receive the village's protection, especially after the calamities wrought by the Nine Tails. Konoha was in the midst of reconstruction. Thanks to the fourth Hokage transferring the Nine Tails space, the village did not suffer significant losses, which considerably uplifted Sarutobi Hiruzen's spirits. The following day, the higher-ups of Konoha solemnly announced a matter of great importance. The fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze, had perished in a valiant effort to protect Konoha and the Nine Tails. Although many high-ranking officials were skeptical regarding the Sharingan mark on the Nine Tails, the root had remained vigilant at the Uchiha clan's territory throughout the night, with no sightings of their personnel departing. Without concrete evidence, Tsukiyakari and Yuzuki Yuyuki continued their daily training. Meanwhile, the conflict between Konoha and the Cloud Village did not disrupt the lives of other ninja villages. Aside from the village leaders gathering intelligence, the villagers continued to cultivate their harvests, regarding the war as less significant than their food yields. For instance, in the Whirlpool village, after years of recuperation, the population had seen growth, and trade with the Twin Peaks mountain had flourished, leading to a comfortable existence. It was said that a prodigy named Karen, possessing a unique constitution, had been born, bringing joy to the clan for several days. Through Nagato's sensing abilities, it was clear that the adversary's destination was approaching. The menacing demeanor suggested that the arrival was anything but friendly. Although his Rinnegan had been taken, he could still summon these summoned beasts through the summoning technique. Thus, upon spotting the enemy, he promptly alerted Konan. Konan, prepare for battle. A formidable foe approaches, and we cannot allow the battlefield to remain here. Let us move to the Rain Village. Understood. Through the art of paper manipulation, Konan swiftly rendezvoused with Nagato in the Rain Village. Suddenly, the surge of fire release techniques and the intense heat caused the rain to evaporate before it could fall, enveloping the surroundings in a thick mist. Faced with such formidable ninjutsu, Konan would naturally not remain passive. The paper jutsu flickered in a dazzling display. Bang, bang, bang. A series of illusions rendered Konan's form indistinct as she deftly evaded the fireballs while advancing towards Uchiha Obito. Got you. Fire style, dragon flame jutsu. Boom. Hiss. Uchiha Obito's severed arm was swiftly regenerated by White Zetsu. However, this was a trait of White Zetsu, not his own limb, and he unconsciously reached for the wound. For the first time, he felt a sense of losing control. Although in his prime he could effortlessly crush Nagato, he was acutely aware that even with a planned resurrection, he would require considerable time to wait. Meanwhile, Nagato would continue to grow. Though he was arrogant, he was not foolish. It appeared he was indeed losing control. Uchiha Obito had been closely monitoring that battle, even as Uchiha Madara proclaimed the arrival of Sh Rin. Snap back to reality, Akatsuki. Yes. This war has dragged on for far too long. Konoha has been sending increasingly younger ninjas, some of whom can barely perform the body flicker technique. It is uncertain how many more lives will be lost here. Rin remained silent. He had accompanied Orochimaru through numerous battles. His lack of renown stemmed from his dedication to protecting the new generation of Konoha ninjas, resulting in no noteworthy achievements to garner fame from enemies. However, at present, the Uzumaki clan lacked a leader. Under the suggestion of Dou Chen Guang, they established an elder council, attempting to explore whether this management structure would be more conducive to development than the current leadership system. Elder Natsu, it has been quite a while since we last met. Natsu, who was busy attending to matters, looked up. Indeed, it has been a long time. You have hardly changed, whereas we have aged. Dou Chen Guang was ushered into the elder conference room. Currently, there were 4 elders in the Uzumaki clan, and any decision required the simultaneous agreement of 3 to be enacted. Bloodline illness arises due to a mismatch between physical traits and innate talent. It is relatively straightforward to address. One simply needs to supplement what is lacking. For instance, the body flicker technique of the Moonlight clan initially caused him daily coughing fits, to the extent that even slight exertion would provoke discomfort. It took him a year to gradually remedy the situation. Similarly, the bloodline affliction associated with Tai was regarded as a rarity. It was improbable for an entire clan to possess the same bloodline limit. The most renowned examples are the Byakugan of the Hige clan and the Sharingan of the Uchiha clan, although the entire clans possessed the relevant bloodline. The first occurrence was in the Land of Water. Since the implementation of the Blood Mist policy 2 years ago, the Hidden Mist village has been steeped in bloodshed, with clans attacking one another relentlessly, leaving the common folk in dire straits. Recently, it was reported that the Take clan of the Hidden Mist attacked the village's higher-ups, resulting in a devastating defeat that nearly led to their annihilation. When Dou Chen Guang learned of this news, he flew over, discovering that only one young child of that clan had survived. Furthermore, the child appeared to have issues, often attacking others. However, considering this clan had only this one surviving member, he decided to take action. Dou Chen Guang, accompanied by Kinshiki, soared through the skies, making little time for rest due to their urgent journey. Half a day later, Dou Chen Guang appeared near the Land of Waterfalls. He had come here after hearing intriguing rumors along his journey. The trees outside had just endured a devastating event, their splintered trunks leaning haphazardly, while villagers were gathered around a cave, pointing and murmuring. Indeed, this was the rhythm of fruitful encounters. The last time he had met a child with the dual bloodline limit of magical prowess, it was under similar circumstances in the Land of Birds, within the Lord's mansion. His Highness Liu was pondering a proposal from Akatsuki. After a moment's reflection, he spoke. Leader Yahiko, this matter is of great significance. We wish to deliberate further, and we will provide our response in due course. How does that sound? Of course, we shall reconvene in 3 days. If there is nothing else, we shall take our leave. As there are many matters awaiting our attention, Yahiko concluded, departing with Nagato. As the other party departed, His Highness Liu inquired, Minister Homing, what do you think regarding this? Regardless of how awkward it might be for Nagato and Konan, Dou Chen Guang intended to take them to Hell Valley for rigorous training, allowing them to grasp the essence of sweating and training to avoid bleeding in battle. Time flows swiftly, and the past troubles have faded, leaving a bold determination to strive for excellence. In the Land of Bears, within Hell Valley, rows of nutrient pods were meticulously arranged. Inside, rich green medicinal liquid mingled with the energy of purple radioactive meteorites. Yahiko, Nagato, Konan, Jago, Kimimaro, Zetsu, Kabuto, Moonlight Gale, and the others were present when Orochimaru and Tsunade entered. Upon seeing his disciples, Sarutobi Hiruzen approached with a smile. You have worked hard, Orochimaru. Tsunade. He patted their shoulders, offering encouragement. It's nothing of great concern, Sensei. This is the peace agreement from the Hidden Cloud Village. They will soon arrive in Konohagakure to sign the peace treaty. Excellent. Orochimaru, Tsunade, you may retire to rest. Konoha takes pride in having elite ninjas like you. As the matter involved the emissaries from the Hidden Cloud that night. Before dawn, Hyuga Hayashi and Hyuga Hizashi made their way to the residence of the third Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen, to explain the circumstances surrounding the incident. Donning his Hokage cloak and smoking thoughtfully, Sarutobi Hiruzen pondered for a long while before replying. You may return for now. I will find a solution. This is Konoha, and we will not allow them to act recklessly. Understood, Hokage-sama. The tone of the third Hokage suggested he intended to support them, providing reassurance to the two brothers. Within the Hyuga clan, many high-ranking members sat together, their expressions somber and silent. This incident was due to my actions, although Konoha had yet to make a decision. The conditions from the Land of Lightning were clear to all. If I were not surrendered, Konoha would once again be engulfed in war. Therefore, I have decided to agree to their terms, not only for Konoha's sake, but also to protect the Hyuga clan from future targeting. No, the body of the main family must not fall into the hands of outsiders. In that case, in the days to come, several companions from our clan in Konoha gradually departed. In Orochimaru's laboratory, Mitarashi Anko sat listlessly, lost in thought. What troubles you? Are you thinking of your friends? Orochimaru inquired with a sly smile. His young disciple had changed remarkably. She once incessantly clamored to become Hokage. Yet now she was using his name to grant her comrades passes. No, sensei, I'm simply lacking the motivation to train. If you don't wish to train, that's perfectly fine. You can go play with Elder Sh Rin. The recent rumors had incensed Kushina greatly. Naruto was still young, and she feared these whispers might adversely affect his growth. As she entered the house with groceries, preparing to cook, a knock echoed at the door. Tap tap. Naruto. Go see who it is. All right, Mom. Kakashi, his face concealed by a mask, greeted Naruto as he emerged. Hello, Naruto. Is your mother at home? Mom is cooking. Mom. It's Kakashi-senpai. Unbeknownst to the passage of time, the crowing of roosters heralded the dawn. Kushina, feeling somewhat drained, noticed a four-symbol seal manifesting on Shimura Danzo's abdomen. Meanwhile, on the platform of the previous Jinchuriki, only a heap of human-shaped ashes remained. It was once said that forcibly extracting a Jinchuriki would lead to death. Little did they know that even the physical form could not be preserved. Danzo cast a disinterested glance and tested his newly acquired power. Superb. A six-winged, tailed beetle emerged, accompanied by a flurry of action. In the midst of battle, Kushina hurled several shuriken towards a few special J-nin. The ensuing chaos caused the special J-nin to lose their composure entirely. With a resounding thud, Kushina forcefully kicked a tree trunk, utilizing the rebound to propel herself swiftly towards a ninja. Before he could utter a word, this special J-nin was pierced through the heart. His eyes wide with disbelief and unwillingness. How could there be such strength? In the land of whirlpools, the sun shone brightly, casting a warm glow. Presently, the hidden village of Yuzushogakyure spans a verdant oasis covering 500 square kilometers, 8 times the area it once occupied. Indeed, with the transformation brought about by the clan and the ninjutsu of the shinobi, this desert had been revitalized. Expanding outward from the village was a ring of populous Euphratica, a resilient tree well-suited for arid environments, making it an excellent choice for greening efforts. Amongst them were fruit trees and crops, while to the west lay a vast deep-water lake fed by underground rivers. At that moment, the Three-Tails caretaker gazed upon the living embodiment of Shinja Hashirama. Obito was momentarily bewildered. No, this must be an illusion. Uchiha Madara explicitly stated that Hashirama was dead. Realizing this, Obito's fear diminished. You think you can deceive me? Watch as I expose your ruse. Hashirama, after all this time, you've learned to hide within the mouth of the Nine Tails. It seems you are no longer the Hashirama I once knew. Indeed, Madara, I have revealed my true self. You cannot continue to hide behind that mask. Meanwhile, on the side of the battlefield, those striving to advance their skills were diligently engaged in their studies. In the hidden depths of Konohagakure, a tide of intrigue swells. Within the clandestine laboratory, Orochimaru scrutinizes the research reports before him. These documents encompass not only the cellular experiments of the first Hokage, Shinju Hashirama, but also advancements in outcomes related to forbidden techniques. This stirs memories of his previous foray into the secret chamber to peruse the Book of Seals. What does this signify? A form of compensation? Sensei. Whoosh. Whoosh. Who? Tsukikage ship inhales deeply. Buzz. The figure of Tsukikage's ship vanishes. Yahiko and his companions strained to sense the situation, pondering how they might respond if faced with such circumstances. It must be acknowledged that, after extensive development, the technique of Inton is truly unpredictable until the moment of execution, necessitating a reliance on reflexes to seize the advantage. Raiwa, empowered by the heavenly seal and an immense reservoir of spiritual energy, channels his unique natural force towards the statue. Time is of the essence. He must locate Tsukikage's ship within 10 breaths. Congratulations to all. With the arrival of great fortune, there are surely omens. If you are reading this, it signifies that luck is upon you. Your beloved will ignite the flame of sincere affection, akin to the rising sun. growing ever brighter with time. May you bask in perpetual sweetness and love everlasting. You are treasured gems to one another, gently stepping into this sanctuary of emotion to savor each exquisite moment. And for those readers without a partner, fret not, for today is the Chishi festival, and your tender hearts shall soon find companionship. You shall bid farewell to solitude and embark on dates with those you hold dear. The sun casts its fervent rays, and the cicadas sing from the trees. Amidst the furious gazes of numerous men, D-Chick smiles and greets the women amiably. It is not his intention to provoke the man. Rather, these women exhibit far more enthusiasm than their male counterparts. For instance, the two weary Uchiha Ina and Uchiha Tetsu, are seasoned jonin assigned by Uchiha Fugaka to serve under him. Although D-Chick is a distant relative newly returned to the clan, his strength surpasses that of the two, leaving them somewhat disgruntled as he easily dispatches them with his taijutsu. Is this the formidable leader Yahiko, whom he has long awaited to meet? In the office, Yahiko sits upright, his orange hair catching the light, a radiant smile gracing his countenance, his muscular form exuding vigor. Indeed, Yahiko revels in showcasing his physique. Clad in a sleeveless red cloud-patterned coat, upon noticing the visitors, Yahiko rises and proclaims, as the esteemed leader of the Akatsuki, "I welcome you, Uchiha Madara. Might we discuss Nagato's Rinnegan?" In the early morning of Konohagakure, a peculiar tranquility envelopes the village. Aside from the occasional chirping of birds, only the soft rustle of D-Chick and his small team cleaning the streets can be heard. "Captain Chick, why must we assist these civilians in sweeping the streets? It has been 3 days." Uchiha Ina complains, broom in hand. "Due to the illness of Aunt Kusa, you must complete her tasks. Hurry up and get to work." D-Chick lightly kicks Ina, while Uchiha Tetsu has already grown accustomed to his captain's idiosyncrasies. Indeed, it is no surprise that a ninja of such repute has emerged from the realm of shinobi. The instantaneous technique of Uchiha Shursui, having undergone meticulous refinement, is executed with unparalleled finesse, simultaneously offering the element of surprise akin to a shadow clone assault, thus giving rise to his moniker, Shursui of the Body Flicker. His ghostly presence renders him nearly indefensible against. "Uchiha Shursui, do you truly intend to thwart our progress?" inquired a member of the root organization. "I harbor no intention of obstructing you. However, it is imperative to comprehend all facets before drawing conclusions. Your indiscriminate approach is ill-advised. Following the events of last night, Dou Chen Guang has officially captured the attention of Uchiha Shursui and his companion. Yet, he remains unfazed. Though these two individuals appear steadfast in their convictions, they remain oblivious to the treacherous nature of humanity, rendering them susceptible to manipulation. While leveraging their trust is straightforward, altering their deeply entrenched beliefs poses a formidable challenge. Thus he chose to forego any engagement. As dawn broke, the world was still shrouded in twilight. In the heart of the forest, the sounds of training reverberated. Bang! Were it not for the solitary eye mask, one would undoubtedly witness a visage contorted in disdain. These fellows are utterly lackadaisical. Obito inhaled deeply. The abilities of Zetsu, which I have previously mentioned, are exceptionally adept in ninjutsu, proving invaluable for our intelligence gathering and reconnaissance efforts. Currently, I have identified 3 suitable targets: the immortal ninja Kakuzu, the rogue ninja Sasori from Sunagakure, while the stance of the third remains ambiguous. I intend to personally verify this, while you shall manage Kakuzu and Sasori. Zetsu will guide you to their whereabouts. The yellow sand surged relentlessly, a tempest that made it difficult to keep one's eyes open, yet Sasori remained surprisingly composed, achieving a state of optimal readiness. Since our opponent is formidable, we shall exert our utmost effort. Magnetic release, iron sand spear. Seals formed. Needles manifested. The iron sand, having been subjected to high-density magnetic compression, transformed into a barrage of sharp spears, swiftly hurtling towards Yahiko. PFF. Although this ninjutsu was swift, Yahiko moved even faster, evading the spears while launching himself towards Sasori. Boom. The explosion resulting from their intertwining assaults carved a massive crater in the desert, swirling sands enveloping the scene. Without waiting for the debris to settle, Yahiko charged forth towards Sasori. Blade technique. Wind slash. Bang. The remnants of the vortex surged towards the core, the tail end forming a long-range slashing strike, accelerated by the wind's rotation, shooting forth towards Sasori like a bullet. PFF. Magnetic release. Iron sand wings. In an instant, he decisively utilized the iron sand to create a pair of colossal avian wings upon his shoulders. Dense foliage cast shadows, surrounded by mountains and waters. This locale is a mysterious sanctuary within the shinobi world, not only boasting picturesque scenery and enveloping mists, but also adorned with numerous frog statues of varying sizes. The larger ones towered several meters high, while the smaller ones were no more than the size of a palm, standing as vigilant sentinels guarding this sacred land. This is none other than the holy ground of the Frog Clan, Mount Maiboku, the ancestral figure of the Frog Clan, Fukusaku. Adorned with a jewel inscribed with the character for oil, lounged in a chair marked with the character for sage, his eyes half closed in a state of drowsy reverie. My esteemed lord, in recent years, not only has the kingdom of birds monopolized the grain and essential goods of the neighboring small nations, but even the great powers find themselves selling these commodities. This illustrates the immense productivity brought forth by the art of ninjutsu. Upon entering the expansive school gates, one is greeted not only by a myriad of unique training facilities, but also by a vast library, bright classrooms, and a serene educational environment, which even left the former Hokage of the Hidden Leaf, Minato Namikaze, in awe. Unlike the few classrooms in the Hidden Leaf Village, which only graduates a small number of ninjas each year, the Hidden Leaf's Ninja Academy merely teaches rudimentary techniques, such as the body replacement technique and basic escape maneuvers. A sudden caw of crows reverberated through the air, signaling the activation of Uchiha Itachi's unique Jinjutsu, which requires only a mere gaze to initiate, instilling immediate terror and illusion in the opponent, thereby stripping them of their bodily freedom. With a snap of his fingers, the illusion was shattered. How could it be? His most powerful Manjiki Sharingan was effortlessly dispelled by a mere snap. The Sharingan truly is exceptional, but what do you intend to do with my subordinate using it? Dou Chen Guang stood calmly, hands still clasped together, as he spoke. In the year 58 of the Hidden Leaf, time swiftly passed, and the new year arrived. Dou Chen Guang treated his teammates, Inazuma and Tetsuhiko, along with Lee, to a hearty barbecue before departing the village under the guise of visiting family. Spending a few days at Twin Peaks in the Whirlpool Oasis, it was a time for exploration, especially during the new year, but generally, he preferred to delve into ninjutsu research or conduct experiments. Unbeknownst to him, he had already reached the age of 30. From initially studying the side effects of natural energy to advancing biological life forms, he had long refrained from engaging in combat with others. As night enveloped the two figures, their silhouettes became more enigmatic. Uchiha Itachi gazed at the person before him and spoke. Although I am unaware of the depth of your enmity with the Uchihas, I have a proposition. I will assist you in avenging your grievances against the Uchiha, provided you do not take action against the Hidden Leaf or my brother, Sasuke Uchiha. Very well, I have no interest in those without the Sharingan. Should you find yourself without a place to go, you may join my organization. Your organization? Akatsuki. Without waiting for Itachi's response, he continued slowly. In the room, the flames crackled and danced, casting shadows of the three figures. Uchiha Fugaku, after casting the Jinjutsu on Itachi, did not take action. He sat beside his wife, observing his son, Itachi. I never imagined you would ultimately align with them. While the aspirations of our clan are for me to seize control of the Hidden Leaf Village, I have no desire to engage in fratricide. Father, mother, Itachi. Your father and I understand your choice. There is no need for sorrow. This fellow would be better off dead, and as for the remaining Uchihas, they can be sought after in due time. Shimura Danzo coldly regarded Dou Chen Guang, having already condemned him in his heart. Your incessant battles are merely for the sake of the Sharingan, are they not? Everyone covets its power, yet what will you achieve with it? Merely to engage in slaughter. How shallow. If you are to commit acts of murder, be prepared to meet the same fate. As Dou Chen Guang's voice faded, he swiftly formed hand seals. Within Shimura Danzo's body, a beetle adorned with 6 wings and a singular tail began to unfurl its form. Ever since being sealed in this place, it had remained suppressed, but now it could finally move freely. Danzo's body was entirely enveloped by chakra, with 7 chakra tails swaying behind him and a horn resembling that of a beetle sprouting from his head. Roar. Tail Beast Bomb. Without hesitation or unnecessary words, he unleashed his signature attack. A pulse of chakra spun rapidly. In its complete 7-tailed state, she charged forward, her immense horn seemingly unique, unfazed by the resistance of the air. Propelled by her wings like a shooting star. Boom. Hiss. Dou Chen Guang braced against the massive horn of the beast, squatting low as he carved 2 deep ruts into the ground beneath him. Do tailed beasts possess gender? Dou Chen Guang pondered, delaying his attack to voice his curiosity. He recalled that both the 9 tails and the 3 tails had male voices, yet this time, the 7 tails spoke with a feminine tone. thunderous explosions erupted, awakening all the clans of Konohagakure. Clad in their garments, they rushed towards the Uchiha district, eager to ascertain the unfolding situation, regardless of their intent to intervene. At that moment, within the ruins of the Uchiha clan, a colossal water sphere enveloped the Seven Tails, Shomei, gradually shrinking until it was palm-sized. At which point Dou Chen Guang retrieved it. The scene was left with the unconscious Danzo, stained with blood, and Uchiha Itachi, who stood in stunned silence amid the smoking remnants of the battleground. He inwardly chastised Danzo for his reckless actions, now exposing the entire village to the chaos. Does anyone know what transpired here? He inquired amidst the crowd. Lord, Third Hokage. A few preceding Umbu ninjas had gathered information and began to report, complementing each other's accounts. Are you saying that Uchiha Itachi conspired with Danzo to assassinate members of the Uchiha clan? In the ninja world, within the land of fire and Konohagakure. Following the unfolding events surrounding the Uchiha clan, various families convened clandestine meetings to analyze the causes and observe the repercussions, questioning whether high-ranking officials of Konoha were involved or if it was a power struggle among top-tier factions. This incident acted as a wake-up call, particularly for the Hyuga clan, which already harbored internal conflicts and was urgently discussing feasible strategies through the night. On the Hokage Rock, Uchiha Itachi and Shimura Danzo stood gazing into the distance. One was branded as a rogue ninja. Within the dilapidated temple, already shrouded in dim light, an even more sinister atmosphere prevailed. Sharingan, activate. A voice called out. Huh. If you lose, Deidara, you must join Akatsuki. Humph. Regardless of who you are, never underestimate my art, Deidara exclaimed, producing two spider-shaped clay bombs from his person and hurling them towards Uchiha Itachi. The bombs flew straight ahead, and Itachi, of course, chose not to absorb the ninjutsu directly, instead deftly retreating. Chapter 89. Jiraiya. Is the prophecy still accurate? Boom. Splits. Crash. In the depths of night, the howling winds rage, and torrential rain pours down, with branches and leaves swirling like a chaotic dance of spirits. The thunder roars deafeningly, intermittently illuminating the earth with flashes of lightning. In the Uchiha clan cemetery, Sasuke Uchiha kneels before the graves of his parents. Ever since the upheaval within his family, he has remained here in silent vigil, neither speaking nor eating. Unresponsive to any passerby, resembling a soulless automaton. Listening to the relentless rain and thunder outside, years have slipped away. He has searched inch by inch, yet has found no one who embodies the identity of the prophesied child, which has left him somewhat despondent. How could the promise of the prophesied child's mentor be evaporating so quickly? Tick-tock, tick-tock. The rain falls incessantly in the hidden rain village, now a mere shadow of its former self. The houses of the past, left unattended, have crumbled or rotted away, giving the appearance of a ghostly realm. It is said that the villagers have all relocated. Perhaps it is worth a visit to seek new resources? The air is languid, and the weather pleasant. In the village of Day, it is the season of leisure. Aside from those tending to their crops at home, most residents are engaged in transportation and construction. Over time, the village has established several specialized construction teams of ninjas who take on jobs to earn some income during the off-season. At that moment, within the village administrative building, dozens of individuals are bustling about, all officials of this vast village, including elite J-nin, CH-nin, Genin, and even ordinary citizens. Without exception, they are adept in governance. Yet the presence of a formidable shadow-level expert, one who instills fear in enemies during wartime, doing nothing, is simply unfathomable. Even in his own situation, he could not remain idle. Meanwhile, Kushina continues to teach at the Ninja Academy. However, here, as long as taxes are paid and no illegal activities occur, they will not interfere excessively. At this point, Minato cannot help but reflect. Everything here represents the vision he once aspired to realize in Konoha. Yet this village has achieved it ahead of time. As dawn breaks and the morning dew has yet to dry, the sun rises in the east. The melodious chirping of birds and the fragrance of blossoms entice couples to linger. At this stage, they can rise early without complaint or stay up late, as long as they are together with their beloved. For instance, Inahika and Tetsuoka, spending their days with the two young women, are inseparable. Within the Uchiha clan territory, the remaining 200 individuals are predominantly ordinary citizens, with few ninjas left, rendering them incapable of fulfilling any security duties for Konoha. Thus, Dou Chen Guang takes charge. And this Uchiha Chen Guang is indeed an anomaly, idling away his days with little to do, only occasionally venturing out to cause a commotion among the girls. It is true, Ever since that incident, Sasuke has been brooding, and I am somewhat concerned. He is nearing graduation, so I wish to personally look after him. A reasonable justification, considering the events of the past. Sarutobi Hiruzen had his suspicions, and over the past 2 years, Itachi and Danzo had discreetly conferred on several occasions. They were aware of this individual's ocular jutsu capable of sealing-tailed beasts, and his physical prowess was unparalleled. As for Danzo, he had managed to obtain the Forbidden Book of Seals. The moon hung high in the night sky, casting a serene glow. This evening, Konoha was unusually lively, with families of graduating ninjas hosting celebratory feasts for their guests. Particularly bustling was the street market, where restaurants and barbecue stalls were nearly overflowing with patrons. Distant from the clamor of the market, Naruto Uzumaki's home felt a refreshing coolness in the night air. For dinner, he indulged in a sumptuous bowl of ramen, extravagantly topped with extra meat. Slurping noisily, he exclaimed, "Wow, Ichiraku ramen is delicious no matter how long I eat it." As he savored the large bowl on the table, two figures quickly parted ways, with Naruto heading in the opposite direction of Mizuki. Lord Hokage. The guards in the secret chamber have reported that Naruto Uzumaki has stolen the Book of Seals. Within the Hokage building, the third Hokage remained unflustered. The Book of Seals contained not only forbidden techniques but also seals. If the sealing techniques were not unraveled, even a glance would soon be forgotten. Otherwise, these forbidden arts would have long been common knowledge throughout the ninja world. Understood. Although Naruto is still young, he is quite sensible. Perhaps he has his reasons. Please summon the Umbu for a meeting. Yes, sir. In the village of Konoha, within the courtyard of the Hokage building, numerous ninjas had gathered in response to the alarm. Upon learning the circumstances, they began to express concern over the potential dissemination of forbidden techniques, which would be a significant blow to Konoha. The third Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen, emerged. Drawing on a cigarette, his expression warm and benevolent. There is no need for alarm. The Book of Seals has already been recovered. We have understood the situation. Naruto stole the book to a classmate. As Mizuki was absent, another instructor announced the results. Next is Team 7, Haruno Sakura, Uchiha Sasuke, and Uzumaki Naruto. Yay! Sakura leapt joyfully, envisioning a little version of herself bouncing around, feeling that fortune favored her at last. She would finally have a moment alone with Sasuke. Teacher, could we possibly switch Sasuke with another teammate? I believe having 2 female companions would be splendid, Naruto suggested, raising his hand. Outside, the sun blazed down upon the earth, the heat waves in the air rendering one drowsy. Only the relentless cicadas continued their monotonous chorus. In the classroom, only 3 remained. The others had been escorted away by their Jonin leader. Naruto lay dejectedly on the desk. Sasuke sat in silent contemplation, while Sakura stared dreamily at Sasuke. How slow this is. We are the only class left. I wonder who our Jonin instructor will be. Hey, Naruto. What are you doing with that brush? Sakura inquired curiously. By the riverside outside Konoha, the 3 lay sprawled on the ground, utterly devoid of dignity. Naruto and Sasuke fared somewhat better, their solid foundations allowing them to still move despite their exhaustion, whereas Sakura was utterly spent. Even the act of breathing felt like an excess. Is this person a demon? She gazed at the leisurely Dou Chen Guang sitting upon a stone, accompanied by a dragonfly. Despite its diminutive size, this little creature could unleash a painful and itchy spray that could startle anyone into action. How about it? My transformation technique is quite impressive. Isn't it? The wind caressed the willow leaves, while swallows soared gracefully. The koi danced upon the rippling waters amidst lush aquatic plants. Although the sun shone brightly and the scenery was picturesque, Sasuke and his companions were devoid of any inclination to admire their surroundings. Ideals are often beautiful, yet reality is harsh. The wind rustled the river, causing the trio's silence to be disrupted. Teacher Guang, do you know what the Nin exam entails? Sakura inquired cautiously. It's quite simple. Are you familiar with the land of blood mist? The trio shook their heads, clearly unaware of what lay ahead. With increasing mastery of his shadow clone technique, Dou Chen Guang cleverly used his original body as bait while launching an attack with his clones. Sasuke, breathless, sought to regain his composure. Facing 2 opponents, he found himself at a disadvantage. Naruto severed the wire. Had it not been for his strong physique, he would have sustained severe injuries from that fire technique. Now, 2 Narutos stood opposing Sasuke in a tense standoff. Sasuke, Naruto, please stop fighting. I no longer wish to be a ninja, I implore you. Such a naive girl, for in the world of ninjas, one cannot simply renounce their path by mere declaration. Chapter 103, Fire Chirp. 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 The sweltering heat rendered the air stifling. Even as the sun dipped in the west, the warmth persisted, exerting its final remnants of power to assert its presence. Haruno Sakura, are you not going to make a move? I, Teacher Guang, I choose to withdraw. This statement drained her last ounce of strength. As the turmoil within her and the struggle against her moral compass left her wavering before ultimately deciding to heed her heart's call. With a clear direction for evolution, Dou Chen Guang's advantages became fully manifested. He meticulously balanced various factors, employing diverse ninjutsu and knowledge, even theoretical ones, to expedite the fusion process, adjusting energy while adapting to newfound powers. Ultimately, he acquired a novel ability. Now, he intended to delve into Naruto's inner workings. Dou Chen Guang observed Naruto's coarse nerves, witnessing the biological electrical impulses flickering between his cells within the depths of his mind. Naruto, you are dispersing. In the land of fire, within Konoha village. The cool forest resonated with melodious birdsong, light and delightful to the ears. Beneath the shade of the trees, a plump brown cat dozed, its belly rising and falling rhythmically. Such a life must be exceedingly comfortable for it. Suddenly, a large leaf fluttered down upon the cat's head. Whoosh! A net materialized out of thin air, disrupting its pleasant dreams. Meow, meow, meow. Naruto, I never expected there would be a way. This mission has been accomplished with ease. However, alas, let us consider it a last-ditch effort. Thud, thud, thud. Mr. Dazuna commissioned the Konoha ninjas to escort him back to his homeland. A task that would continue until the completion of the bridge construction, as it involved threats from the underworld against him, thus designating it as a high-level mission. He hoped that you would ensure his safety. Well, rest assured, I shall complete the task. Uchiha chick, as they venture outside for the first time. I hope you will keep a watchful eye on them. Have no worries. Third Hokage. Uchiha chick appears somewhat listless at this moment. Tick-tock, tick-tock. This time has truly been troublesome. Sasuke hangs his arms limply, feeling powerless. He did not intend to come here. Yet once again he has been treated like a puppet by Teacher Chick. This time, however, the wound is rather deep, nearly piercing through his arm. I hope there will be some benefits forthcoming. This is one concern he does not fret over, for although Uchiha Chick possesses an eccentric personality, he often conducts matters with fairness. The group sits aboard a vessel en route to the land of waves, contemplating the impending mission. He intends to persuade Dazna to disclose the details. At the very least, the battle must be clear-cut. It appears that silence is no longer an option. The land of waves is a nation devoid of ninjas. Both the feudal lord and the citizens are steeped in poverty. In the past, an organization known as the Red Flame Commerce facilitated trade here, allowing for a modest standard of living. However, last year, Kato set his sights on this place. Although the Red Flame Commerce possessed considerable strength, they refrained from meddling in the internal politics of foreign nations. Kato, too, wisely chose not to provoke them, instead leveraging his financial power. Within the forests of the land of waves, the air grew damp, mist enveloped the surroundings, and the sounds of birds and insects faded into silence, rendering the footsteps of the group all the more jarring. Halt! Open your eyes. Sasuke activated his vibrant red Sharingan, scrutinizing the area with acute precision. There was no need to look further. The enemy had already encircled them. Uchiha Chick stood at the forefront of the group, his gaze piercing through the thick fog, surveying the masked ninjas in every direction. Hearing this, Naruto clenched his fists in frustration. Once again, he had been outdone. And while Sasuke had detected the anomaly, he remained blissfully unaware. It seemed that a decisive action was necessary. Puff, puff, puff. Impressive. A series of 5 consecutive kills. In this moment, Naruto felt invincible. Fire style, fireball jutsu. Boom. At close range, a massive fireball struck, and witnessing the imminent demise of the Mist Ninja, Sasuke swiftly dispatched him with a single blow. As Naruto unleashed his prowess, a surge of adrenaline coursed through him. The corner of Suigetsu's eye twitched. In the blink of an eye, his subordinates had nearly been annihilated. Are the lower ninjas of Konoha truly this formidable? As night fell, twinkling lights began to illuminate the surroundings. Within the tidy, immaculate abode, Uchiha Chick and the others were engaged in a culinary battle, particularly Naruto and Sasuke, who eagerly hurried to fill their mouths. Why is there a corner missing from this photograph hanging on the wall? Sakura asked curiously, chewing her rice. On the wall hung a family portrait, with a corner torn away, depicting a smiling and benevolent Dazna, his beautiful daughter Tsunami, and his grandson Inari, all radiating joy. However, it was evident that starting today, They would work together to construct the Great Bridge until its completion. Fire style, dragon flame. Whoosh. Sasuke employed the fire style to melt the construction materials, needing to meticulously control the temperature at each stage to avoid waste. Wind style, wind binding. Wow, this is heavy. I cannot allow Sasuke to outshine me. Naruto exclaimed, pulling a load of materials with the wind style towards the construction site, his expression taut. For this load was no easy task. Sakura listened to the soft chirping of night insects, accompanied by the rhythmic sound of waves. Suddenly, Sasuke leaped beside Naruto, contemplating the fruits of their labor and reflecting on his own gains. Are you still angry? Not at all. He merely disdained those who give up, those who, despite their lack of effort, look down upon those who strive. Each individual possesses their own way of life, and one cannot impose their beliefs upon others. However, it is indeed unfair to those who toil. Among two wandering warriors, one adorned with distinctive eye paint and a knitted cap, while the other bore a tattoo on his arm and sported an eye patch. Ah, how I yearn to sever something. I intended to approach cautiously, but it appears the bridge has already been compromised. The one-eyed man shouted from outside the wall, fixating on the stunned Tsunami. The quality of this hostage's skin is remarkable. I wonder what it would feel like to slice it. Come with us, and behave as a proper hostage. Do not compel us to take action. What do you intend to do? Tsunami inquired, her voice a mix of fear and anger. On the newly constructed bridge, Kato's henchmen shouted profanities, their taunts echoing in the air. Sasuke, do you still remember how to employ ninjutsu? Sasuke hesitated. What purpose could it serve at this moment? Awaken. The Sharingan activated. The double tomo of his red pupils manifested. Ah, I see. Naruto focused intently, gently infusing wind chakra around Tsunami, enveloping her like an invisible wind coat. After all, it was merely an illusion. Actions could be imagined without a firm grounding in reality. How is your organization progressing? Everything is proceeding according to plan. The Akatsuki organization now operates independently of the village of Dei, and aside from myself, all others are ninjas summoned by Uchiha Madara. Indeed, the ninja world is not a realm where reason prevails easily. It is well known now that the village of Dei is under the command of the Akatsuki. Any actions taken outside are inherently linked to the village itself, so do not let them lay blame upon you. Understood. Dasna watched as they departed. These ninjas not only instilled courage in Inari, but also in the villagers. They are indeed heroes of this village. Everyone, this bridge remains nameless. Why not call it Hero's Bridge? Hero's Bridge. Quite splendid. Naruto and the others are also heroes of our village. No, it is not only Naruto and his companions. Everyone here is a hero. Ultimately, all have bravely confronted the malevolent forces of violence. We are all heroes. This bridge shall henceforth be known as Hero's Bridge, bearing the names of us all. In a clearing within the forest, illuminated by the vibrant hues of leaves, appeared individuals adorned with the Leaf Village headbands, yet they did not lower their guard. However, this thick-browed figure? Sasuke felt an uncanny sense of familiarity. Who are you? Naruto inquired, looking up. I am Rock Lee. I heard your class is quite formidable, so I came to see for myself. Rock Lee? Well, do they all say that? Haha. Naruto laughed heartily, feeling somewhat bashful. This time, the trio faced a disheartening defeat. Captain Chen Guang has never mentioned that ninjutsu cannot be executed instantaneously. Should one refrain from its usage? Shaoli, clad in clean attire, stood nearby, unflustered and composed. Do you know Teacher Chen Guang? Sakura inquired with curiosity. I have known him for quite some time, having graduated a year before you. A year? Could he truly become this formidable in just 12 months? Sasuke clenched his fists, feeling his own inadequacy. He could not guarantee that he would be able to surpass this individual a year hence. In the land of birds, amidst a lush and verdant forest, a row of towering buildings stood majestically. This was the newly established headquarters of the Akatsuki organization, having severed ties with the village of Dei. At this moment, within a conference room, Danzo was reporting to Nagato. Although they had previously clashed, resulting in Danzo losing an arm, such grievances were inconsequential to him as long as he could obtain intelligence. Past animosities could be set aside for the time being. Danzo, you should be aware that the principle of pairing up in twos has always been a rule of the Akatsuki, implemented to prevent uncontrollable changes. Whoosh! The chains shot forth, striking down any unsuspecting ninjas who failed to evade in time, while a series of kunai hung from the chains. Spinning with lethal force, whoever stood in their path would surely perish. Whoosh! The sealing technique, diamond lock. Clang! 5 golden chains erupted from Kushina's body. swirling around her like a tempest, deflecting all incoming attacks with ease. Clang. Danzo deflected a chain, observing Kushina, ensnared in the center, struggling against the ninjutsu, his heart unyielding. At the new headquarters of the Akatsuki, Nagato sat in a position of authority, attentively listening to the report. Currently, all members of Akatsuki had gathered in one place. Deidara with his explosive techniques, Itachi Uchiha wielding the Sharingan, the bounty hunter Kikazu, the information broker Zetsu, the apostle of evil Haiden, the puppet master Sasori, the scientist Orochimaru, the enigmatic Madara Uchiha, and their leader, Nagato. Zetsu, are you certain that Danzo is dead? Indeed. Not a trace remains. It is quite clean, and one of my clones has also vanished. One of Zetsu's clones, effortlessly and joyfully, remarked, how frustrating. I have fallen behind by a month and wonder if I can catch up to Sasuke again. That's not my fault. Didn't Sasuke sneak off as well? I caught him red-handed. Naruto protested, munching on a rice ball. Sakura is so biased. She only prepares food that Sasuke enjoys. Sasuke has his reasons for not telling me. Your silence is deliberate. Pfft. Such double standards? Naruto felt that the rice ball in his hand tasted even worse. Cuckoo. Tap, tap. The group strolled down the street, savoring local delicacies while admiring the scenery of Konoha. As a long-standing village, the citizens of Konoha took great pride in their home. Currently, the Chunin exams were underway, and they had pulled out all the stops to entertain guests from other villages. Kakuzu had gone to promote the chakra cars, while Orochimaru claimed he was meeting old friends, leaving the three of them to wander aimlessly. Since it was not a time of war, safety concerns were minimal. After all, during the Chunin exams, Konoha would undoubtedly increase its patrols. Sakura and her companions turned to see the source of the sound. The foremost individual donned a striking purple martial arts outfit. Her adorable hairstyle featuring charmingly curled short hair adorned with a distinctive bun. Beside her stood another person with black hair, obscuring the left side of her face. Her half-open violet eyes perpetually wore a languid expression. Another figure bore deep green hair beneath a forehead protector, styled akin to a headscarf. Her slender visage concealed by a black mask. Upon encountering the trio of hydrangeas, Naruto felt a surge of joy, recognizing them as students from his mother's class prior to their arrival in Konoha. In the barbecue restaurant, the enticing aroma of freshly grilled meat filled the air with a sizzling sound. The two poured some sake, savoring it alongside the delectable barbecue. What stage has recent research reached? The primary natural body, with a 30% chance of awakening. The residual effects of failed awakenings have been resolved. Yet there remains no clarity regarding the elimination of bloodline limits, which has only achieved the dissolution limit, facilitating construction efforts. Kabuto adjusted his glasses, smugly reflecting that flattery has indeed borne fruit, as he had initially inquired about his area of expertise. Indeed, while construction is paramount, Yahiko and his companions differ from Itachi Uchiha and Shursui. The awakening of Itachi and Shursui stemmed from intense emotional stimuli, their desires or regrets culminating in their kaleidoscope abilities. In contrast, Yahiko and his peers rely solely on the accumulation of pure mental strength. Without potent desires driving them, they might awaken bizarre abilities, leading to a truly lamentable situation. Thus, he has always believed that the Sharingan is the most formidable in the ninja world, a power beyond reason. On July 1st, under a clear sky, the dawn barely illuminating Konoha village. In the Hokage's office, smoke swirled around. Kakashi Hitaki, Yuhi Kurenai, dōjutsu, Might Guy, Asuma Saratobi, and Ibiki Marino awaited the results from the third Hokage. Wasn't there an illusion test scheduled? I remember that it was assigned to a CH Nin from the examination committee. I've eliminated that round. The illusion assessment is futile. If one person sees through it, the others can follow suit, rendering it meaningless, dōjutsu replied nonchalantly. So, you deem it purposeless? However, regardless of strength or weakness, none present wished to test their prowess. After all, the teams gathered included many sensory-type ninjas, who, to varying degrees, understood that such a multitude concealed hidden talents. Engaging in unnecessary provocations was not a risk anyone was willing to take. They mentioned that those women were quite exceptional. Tezuka remarked to those around him. Then let me witness what makes them so special that they warrant distinct treatment from the great ninja villages. Saku's demeanor exuded pride and a combative spirit, her expression tinged with a hint of mischief as she cast a sidelong glance. Hooray! The CH Nin exams are finally upon us, and every ninja feels confident, for the first event is a written test, not to mention others. Naruto himself had diligently prepared under Kushina's insistence. After all, who could bear the shame of failing cultural subjects and ninja knowledge with his mother as the teacher? Naruto-kun. Let's give it our all together. Let us do our best together. But Hinata, you still get so easily flustered. Sasuke observed, seated around the examination hall. The proctoring ninjas scribbled notes, likely having discovered instances of cheating. Indeed. It seems utterly unreasonable to deduct 2 points for such an offense when the questions posed are exceedingly challenging. Does this not inadvertently encourage dishonesty? Moreover, he recalled the final remarks made by Marino Ibiki, which clearly pressured students to resort to subterfuge and stealthy tactics. This was no mere examination of knowledge, but rather an assessment of intelligence gathering, a veritable web of calculations. One could only hope that Naruto would soon grasp the crux of the matter. As for the task of gathering intelligence, the gentle breeze rustled the leaves outside, creating a soft rustling sound. The scorching sun bore down upon the earth, rendering even the river's waters seemingly on the verge of boiling. Marino Ibiki kept a keen eye on the time, and as the second hand returned to the numeral 12, an almost devilish smile crept across his face. The time had come to unveil the final question. Before announcing the query, he provided 2 crucial hints. The moment his words echoed through the room, a cacophony erupted among the candidates. With so little time left, there was scarcely a chance to complete all 9 questions. The 10th question, you may. Naruto's hand slammed down upon the table with determination. Do not underestimate me. I will not falter at this critical moment. Even if I remain a lowly genin for life, I shall surpass the Hokage and realize my dreams. I am not afraid in the slightest. Clearly, you were terrified. The others exchanged amused glances at his contradictory bravado. Naruto-kun. Hinata Hyuga blushed as she gazed at the standing figure of Naruto. He looked so cool like this. Yet, he truly was a big fool. In the land of fire, at Training Ground 44, known as the Forest of Death, which teemed with venomous creatures and wild beasts. The venue had been specially designated for the Chunin selection exams. Outside the forest, the ninjas who had completed the first test had already begun to gather, deterred only by the ominous danger signs and the barbed wire surrounding the area. Sensei really is something. He always calls us to arrive early. Yet he is the last to show up. Naruto grumbled as he squatted on the ground in boredom. Best not let him hear you, or else as newcomers this year. Sasuke and 8 others from Konoha were still regarded as prime targets by the others. They hastened their actions, aiming to locate these newcomers before anyone else. Of course, teams of ninjas spread out like a net, while the likes of Ajisai and her companions were conveniently forgotten. It was wise to target the easier prey. Shoji, Ino. Let us conceal ourselves. These upperclassmen will surely aim for us newcomers. We shall lie low for a while and prepare to take the rear, conserving our energy. Sunlight illuminated the dense foliage, casting dancing shadows across the ground. A gentle breeze caressed their cheeks, imparting a sense of languor. Sasuke, with blood still fresh upon him, leapt ahead, while Naruto took the rear and Sakura provided support. This was the formation they employed for their missions. Suddenly, as Naruto guarded the tail end of their group, he sensed a faint, treacherous whisper of wind that cut across his face, leaving behind several crimson streaks. Conceal yourselves. Naruto's warning came just a heartbeat too late. Wind release, pressure damage. Sasuke did not respond to Sakura's question. Instead, he posed one that she had overlooked. Under normal circumstances, how would Naruto react to such a lengthy code? He would likely apologize, claiming to have forgotten it. Indeed, that fool Naruto struggles to remember such extensive passwords. Furthermore, your method of evasion differs from his. He prefers a straightforward and forceful approach. Sasuke remained vigilant, aware that if this individual were an imposter, the earlier jutsu was most likely employed by this person. A ninja capable of unleashing the full potential of such a powerful technique is not to be underestimated. Moments ago, while trapped within the serpent's belly, the air was scarce, and he is still grappling to regain his breath, inhaling deeply to alleviate the pressure. Naruto, clutching his kunai, eyed the unfamiliar ninja with caution. His previously confident attack had been effortlessly dodged, indicating that the opponent possessed superior combat awareness. Furthermore, Sakura's current state rendered her devoid of fighting capability, leaving the burden of the battle solely on him and Sasuke. I hope I'm not late. I can't recall the code. Fortunately, you arrived just in time, but this oppressive aura instantly envelopes the entire battlefield. Subarashi, over there. The ninja from the village hidden in the grass twisted his body in an uncanny manner, shedding the previous ninja's guise like a garment, revealing an entirely new figure. With long black hair, elongated golden pupils, violet eyeshadow extending to the nostrils, and pale skin adorned with teal, comma-shaped earrings, not only had his appearance transformed, but the injuries he had sustained earlier had vanished without a trace. This visage starkly contrasted with the earlier one, yet the sense of pressure intensified. Gasping for breath, Sasuke felt the sunlight of dusk more searing than that of noon. He was on the verge of collapse. Huff, huff, take a break. Naruto lay sprawled on the ground, his clothes stained and tattered, blood seeping from the wounds inflicted by chains, rendering him utterly disheveled. Sasuke and Sakura were not faring any better. Sasuke's chakra had long been depleted, relying solely on sheer physical endurance to persevere. Sakura, whose constitution was already inferior to theirs, would have succumbed long ago were it not for her resilient spirit. Let us not forget that he possesses the ability to perform Edo Tensei and harbors a profound interest in the Sage of Six Paths tools wielded by the likes of Kin and Jin. This holds significant research value. Consider it a deal. Orochimaru, transformed into a serpent, expelled a massive scroll, placing it between the two to demonstrate goodwill. Dou Chen Guang stepped forward, inspected it briefly, then tossed it back with a flick of his wrist. Your sincerity leaves much to be desired. There's no need for such petty tricks. I can discern the genuine from the false. To his surprise, they were kindred spirits. He had merely sought to confirm his suspicions. Chirrup, chirrup, chirrup. Above the forest, 8 diverse eagles and mountain birds circled, serving as Dou Chen Guang's eyes, continuously surveying the ninjas below. After 3 days of contention, 2 teams had acquired their respective scrolls, cautiously evading other ninjas, while those who had their scrolls stolen were lingering in alliance, hoping to secure the necessary scrolls before the conclusion of the event. Thus, the battles of the last 2 days unfolded incessantly. Boom. The yellow sand was scattered by a single strike. How swift. Gaara had lost the initiative. His sand techniques could not keep pace with the movement of the water lily, forcing him into a passive defense with the sand shield. The water lily, of course, would not let this opportunity slip away. With agile movements, disregarding the oncoming yellow sand, she aimed her jade flute directly at Gaara's throat. Hiss. Gaara retreated sharply, the flowing sand propelling his body like a fleeting shadow, yet the water lily's jade flute remained relentlessly close behind. At this moment, he had nowhere left to retreat and could only gamble everything. Boom. Before he even arrived, Gaara's defenses began to crumble. What is happening? Even before the attack reached him, Gaara's defenses were collapsing on their own? Kankuro asked in astonishment. It was a sonic wave attack. The final notes of the flute had formed an invisible sound wave at the forefront of the assault, so it appeared as if the attack had not yet arrived, when in fact, it had already struck. Temari, having honed her wind release techniques, felt the air's intangible vibrations as the sound waves descended, the residual waves emanating from the impact. Boom. In the forest, neither side's members acted rashly, especially on the side of the Sand Shinobi. Their captain had yet to make a move, while the opposing captain had not yet struck. It would not be wise to act now. We concede. Here is the Earth Scroll. Temari stepped forward first, placing an Earth Scroll on the ground. She had never seen Gaara in such a state of disarray, feeling as though he had no chance to retaliate. This was not merely a gap in strength, it was the culmination of physique, power, speed, and other factors combined. Cuckoo. Cuckoo. Lululu. Outside the window, several cuckoos were heralding the morning, preening their feathers and tidying their companions down, occasionally cooing and flitting about. Creak. The door swung open once more. Oh, Hinata, you've arrived too? Naruto greeted the newcomer with delight. Among teammate, aside from the domineering Kiba and the brooding Shino, he found Hinata to be the most agreeable. Naruto-kun, you all arrived early. Hinata felt a surge of joy within. Lee cast a glance at the faintly visible tall tower. If they could resolve this quickly, they might still make it. It's possible. The remaining grass shinobi sighed in relief, though uncertain whether they could hold their ground. At least they had bought some time. Were it not for the sound shinobi's relentless pursuit to kill them, they would not be fleeing for their lives with such desperation. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. It seemed those 2 inept ones still had some use, finding a scapegoat. The leader, T.S., observed their retreat. There was still an hour until the time limit. The center tower was merely a mile away. Yet for the sound shinobi team, it was an insurmountable distance. Because Rockley stood firmly in their way, the sweltering heat offered no warmth, only an overwhelming chill. It's your turn. Lee's stance grew ever more stable, his movements increasingly swift, urgency amplifying. The closer they approached the end, the less haste he could afford. He dashed around the 2, preventing them from locking onto him. In the Uchiha clan, It is well known that this young girl diligently practices in pursuit of vengeance, yet no one can truly grasp the turmoil within her heart. In terms of innate talent, Uchiha Izumi surpasses Itachi, having awakened her Sharingan at the tender age of 6 and achieved the 3-tomo state by 13. All while still a genin. This implies that she awakened her 3-tomo naturally, devoid of overwhelming emotional stimuli, resulting in her ignorance of how to wield the Sharingan before the age of 13. In contrast, Itachi had been exposed to the battlefield by his father from a young age, enduring emotional trials in a quiet and unadorned room. Sasuke activated his seal, enveloping his body in a network of black markings, feeling an enhancement in both speed and strength. Could he continue? Indeed, he would give it a try. As the initial black markings formed a web-like pattern, they now covered him completely, leaving no gaps. His skin darkened to a brown hue. A pair of wings resembling hands sprouted from his back, and a cross pattern emerged on his face as his chakra surged dramatically. Could he fly? Dou Chen Guang recalled that day in the forest when Orochimaru emerged from the great serpent's body, marveling at the unique nature of this ninjutsu. Orochimaru possessed a singular form of substitution technique that perfectly transferred damage, which would benefit his body. Not only was Orochimaru focused on him, but there was also another formidable entity observing from behind, compelling him to play along and infiltrate. Aren't you adept at studying ninjutsu? Can't you develop it? Sasuke understood that Dou Chen Guang could discern many ninjutsu with just a glance. In the month of July, the sky was a brilliant azure. In Hell Valley, toxic gases swirled and ebbed like waves. Dou Chen Guang's laboratory was once again in operation, with rows of indicator lights flickering incessantly. Within several specially designed glass dishes, the flesh and blood of the Sound Ninja team pulsated and writhed irregularly under the stimulation of Dou Chen Guang's natural energy. They grew from the size of a grain of rice to that of a fist in merely 3 minutes. Upon reaching the size of a watermelon, they would be refined again to achieve a primitive state. He summoned an orangutan once more, this time utilizing yang release to specifically enhance the host's physique, allowing its height of less than 1 meter to soar to 13 meters. Beep. Bloodline fusion in progress, compatibility at 23, fusion failed. Splatter. As was to be expected, the outcome was invariably catastrophic. This was peculiar. It was not an issue of the physical body, but rather the excessive aggressiveness of this flesh. The blood's level was too high, resulting in a state of racial suppression. Dou Chen Guang was at a loss, yet due to a previous successful experience, subsequent experiments yielded significantly smoother results. Through various tests, this creature exhibited not only abilities akin to steam release but also sonic attacks. When considered as a genuine vessel for water, it could influence the weather, inducing rain directly. However, this ability required substantial chakra. Without it, it was merely ornamental. Moreover, the rain function was passive, triggered simply by boiling water. As Dou Chen Guang tested the capabilities of the newly evolved creatures, he observed the previously boisterous wind-wielding brother now brought low, sliding against the wall before shakily rising to his feet. His flesh had hardened, and despite taking a punch, he had managed to withstand the blow with the aid of the wind. Otherwise, that strike would have rendered him unable to rise. These creatures proved to be rather formidable. Dou Chen Guang gazed solemnly at the wild boar before him, whether it was the previous crucible of life or this current wild boar. They had intuitively harnessed their powers since their evolution, displaying considerable strength. Above a forest in the Bear Country, Dou Chen Guang floated serenely, observing the clash below. On one side stood a multitude of ninjas engaged in pursuit, while on the other stood an old elite ninja, solitary. The outcome of this battle was all but inevitable. Aren't you going to save her? Chongming inquired. If she were to abandon her star and flee, it would be entirely feasible. He remembered this ninja named Summer. Once, he had coincidentally ventured here to refine his chakra, only to discover a group of selected children training. With a thunderous crash, Dou Chen Guang's dragon form collided with the opposing giant dragon, preventing it from launching an assault. Quick, unleash your transformation techniques and attack together. Red Star's forehead was beaded with veins, and he felt the immense pressure bearing down upon him. At the command, over 10 individuals conjured various creatures through the peacock mystical art, collaborating to resist the giant's force. It seems we are nearly there. Ninjutsu, dragon might. With a resounding boom, the sky darkened. In the valley suffused with toxic gas, Dou Chen Guang cautiously probed the meteor's limit with active chakra. He remained particularly vigilant in the face of the unknown. Shameless humans, with your strength, why didn't you seize the meteor earlier? With your abilities, they should be powerless against you. Chongming questioned, perplexed. Throughout her life, She had never encountered a ninja behaving in such a manner. If it were just once or twice, she might not have thought much of it. Dou Chen Guang's expression grew grave. His calculations indicated that the energy sustained by this crystal was far beyond his expectations. As he channeled energy into it, only a faint glow emerged, suggesting that the crystal's power was 20 times greater than his own. Could you refrain from making such alarming statements? Chongming rubbed her throbbing head. The magnitude of information was overwhelming, and she preferred to leave the mental gymnastics to others. This is too frustrating. Thud, 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 thud. Within the ceiling space, the pulling force persisted, yet the situation grew increasingly perilous. If a solution was not found to halt or alter the course, the chaotic red Sakura might vanish before ever entering the world. What should we do? Is there any way? Chongming asked anxiously. Having spent countless days and nights with red Sakura, she had fostered deep feelings for her, akin to a parent awaiting the birth of a child, now bereft of ideas. First, let's find a location. The natural energy here is far too sparse, which is detrimental to red Sakura's situation. Crackling bolts of lightning struck him, yet he felt nothing. So powerful. Chongming murmured in awe. She realized that she lacked even the courage to take action. Thump, thump. As if sensing the imminent danger nearby, the meteor's pulsation slowed. However, its radiance grew increasingly brilliant, seemingly probing the source of the disturbance. Inhale. Exhale. Dou Chen Guang placed his hand on the natural energy of Shuangfeng Mountain, which was being continuously siphoned. Though it was but a drop in the bucket for both Dou Chen Guang and Hong Ying, it served to stabilize their vitality. At this moment, Dou Chen Guang's body remained within a radius of 3 meters, achieving a temporary equilibrium between their needs and the external environment. Success seemed imminent. Dou Chen Guang gazed at the meteor, no larger than a grain of rice, pondering that the future of the peacock's miraculous technique might soon become mere legend. Crack, crack. As per the clan's records, Grandpa Tuya was well aware of many things unknown to ordinary people, though he had never witnessed them firsthand. Nevertheless, it was better to believe in such matters than to regret later for having doubted. Hong Ying, you have truly been a great help to us. If you ever need anything, do not hesitate to ask. No, it was just a small favor. Zhongming hastily replied. Grandpa Tuya, you are too courteous. No. In my time with the young lad Guang, I have come to understand that only mutual benefit can lead to lasting relationships. A gentle breeze swept through, and Hong Ying found herself humming with comfort. This was her first genuine experience of the outside world. Chirp, chirp. From whence did that bird call originate? The three turned to investigate. Why are there 2 fledglings on Hong Ying? Zhongming exclaimed in surprise. They were born alongside me. They are 2 years old now. Just like I was, having transformed from eggs. Hong Ying replied, seemingly oblivious. Suddenly, a swift bolt of lightning flashed across the sky, vanishing into silence as it reached the Uchiha clan territory. With a flash of the summoning contract, Hong Ying appeared in the small pavilion. Daddy, Mommy, yes, for now. You can stay here until I devise a suitable technique for you, allowing you to move freely. Do you understand? Okay. In the small pavilion, Hong Ying curiously gazed around, frequently inquiring about this and that, occasionally chattering endlessly with the fledglings. Fortunately, she did not chase Zhongming away. In the afternoon, the weather remained oppressively hot. Moving under the sun felt akin to being scorched by a fire release. I apologize, the temperature of fire release is indeed much higher. As agreed, Xiaoli brought his team to the Uchiha clan territory to find Dou Chen Guang. The current Uchiha clan was no longer bound by as many rules as before. Having cast aside the glory of its past, with the number of villagers bearing unusual traits rapidly declining, the decline was unavoidable. Presently, the Uchiha were engrossed in developing commerce, with some engaging in trade with the people of the village of Day, while others, overwhelmed by the numerous affairs at hand, neglected to attend the final competition. Furthermore, due to diminished physical energy, his physique had yet to recover. Addressing inquiries would be cumbersome, so he opted to remain home, contributing to peace in his own way. Father, come play with me in the skillful game of Hong Ying. Just as they reached the pavilion, Hong Ying warmly beckoned Dou Chen Guang to accompany her. No. Today, Father intends to test your knowledge of human anatomy. Hong Ying is still unfamiliar with it. At this moment in the arena, all the ordinary people and low-ranking ninjas had fallen unconscious. Just as Dou Chen Guang had stated, Orochimaru had come solely to eliminate Sarutobi Hiruzen, harboring no intentions of destroying Konoha. Atop the arena, four strangely attired sound ninjas erected a barrier, isolating Orochimaru and Sarutobi Hiruzen from the outside world. By the time Dou Chen Guang arrived, Orochimaru and Sarutobi Hiruzen were already engaged in a fierce exchange. Orochimaru's martial arts were impressive, and he was youthful. In contrast, Sarutobi Hiruzen, being older, found close combat with Orochimaru to be a challenge. Within the barrier, the two masters remained vigilant, each observing the other. Both understood the peril of negligence in such a precarious situation. It seems the teacher has yet to grasp the gravity of the situation. Although the first and second Hokage's strength was diminished to a third of its original due to the nature of their techniques. Do you truly believe you can survive against us? Orochimaru, intrigued by the eager Sarutobi Hiruzen, inquired. You have indeed underestimated me, though I am advanced in years. I shall demonstrate how I earned the title of Jutsu Master. From a distance, Dou Chen Guang shook his head at the unfolding scene. Sarutobi Hiruzen believed he was nearing his goal, but that was merely a delusion. The first and second Hokage were instinctively engaged in battle, beginning with Senju Tobirama utilizing water release to create an advantageous environment. The abundance of water not only provided a favorable battleground for the forest realm, but also showcased the remarkable synergy between the two. Indeed, in the next moment, Senju Tobirama altered his hand signs. Water release, water barrier, boom. However, if the soul exists in a realm unknown to humans, where it can be summoned with the thoughts from its past life, does that not equate to a form of immortality? It sounds appealing, yet upon closer examination, it reveals numerous contradictions. The more one understands, the more one feels the insignificance of one's own existence. Setting aside these wandering thoughts, within the barrier, the combatants were fiercely engaged. The youthful Sarutobi Hiruzen truly deserved the title of a formidable ninja, mastering mainstream ninjutsu with ease. His close combat techniques were also at their pinnacle, facing the combined might of the first and second Hokage alongside Orochimaru. The Great Serpent was a summoning beast contracted by Orochimaru from the Dragon Cave. With its purple stripes, colossal size, rapid mobility, and immense attacking power, its four small horns on its head symbolized its strength. Most notably, it possessed a fierce and ruthless temperament. During the height of the war, Tsunade had the Slug Sage's avatar, and Jiraiya had the Toad Fukasaku from Mount Myaboku, yet he had nothing. After much effort, he finally found the Dragon Cave. But the formidable sages were unwilling to be contracted, leaving him to resort to the Great Serpent, which required sacrifices for each summoning. In the midst of battle, Sarutobi Hiruzen sought to replenish his chakra for a final decisive blow. Orochimaru remained cautious of his impending retaliation, since he dared to make bold claims. Orochimaru would not treat them as mere bravado. It appears, dear teacher, that you have not yet succumbed to confusion. Indeed, your gateway to truth seems constrained by time. Since you proclaim that you shall remain youthful until death, it seems we must reach a resolution before the secret arts fade away. Orochimaru, with a sly grin, stepped back a few paces, preparing for any eventuality. You remain as astute as ever. As Sarutobi Hiruzen exerted greater force in his tugging, Dou Chen Guang witnessed Orochimaru's soul ensnared by a hand adorned with runes. However, unlike the first Hokage and his companions, Orochimaru's resistance was fierce, compelling Sarutobi to pull with all his might. The clang of metal resonated through the air, drawing Orochimaru's attention. Upon inspection, it became evident that Sarutobi had inadvertently collided with his Kusanagi sword during his retreat. Hadn't he stored that away? Yet, there was no time for such thoughts. The distant sounds of battle and explosions from the barrier echoed ominously. Though the scene remained obscured, it was undoubtedly intense. Would the teacher prevail? Surely. Mitsuki Red Bean asserted confidently. She refrained from disclosing the resurrection of the first and second Hokages to Shinosuke, which constituted her second reason for being here. Next, Jiraiya-senpai would likely summon your sister to take charge, as she alone possessed the necessary prestige and authority within the village. I shall take my leave now. Whoosh. On the path to the land of wind, traces of past battles became evident. A straight line pointed unerringly toward Sunagakure. Dou Chen Guang leaped swiftly, encountering other students along the way, all seemingly converging on this route home. Boom, boom. In the distance, Dou Chen Guang spotted two colossal beasts engaged in a fierce struggle within the forest, their massive forms toppling countless trees. One was an enormous toad, towering approximately 30 meters, clad in a grand robe, and it was unwilling to allow Naruto and the others to escape after such a protracted battle. Do not underestimate me just because I appear smaller, he exclaimed. Wind release, vacuum sphere. Bang. One Tail turned in surprise. Kid, are you pilfering my jutsu? It's merely a simple application of wind release. There's nothing complex about it. Dou Chen Guang replied nonchalantly. Nothing complex, is it? Let us see how you handle this. In the forest, due to the influence of magnet release, a vast swath of land lay bare, exposing deep layers of brown gravel and withered roots. The battlefield was filled with an unsettling silence, save for the harsh sounds of wind and sand. Clang! Suddenly, the sharp sound of metal striking metal resounded clearly through the forest. Mountain split. Boom. The once impenetrable sand coffin shattered into countless fragments, scattering like dust. Ninjutsu, mountain split. Susanoo, with a single hand, grasped the dispersing debris. Dou Chen Guang realized that while he could not ascertain the intelligence of Shikaku, its agility was indeed unmatched. Ultimately, he failed to intercept it. Who are you? Gaara inquired, gazing at the towering figure before him, puzzled. If his memory served him correctly, he should be facing Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha. Dou Chen Guang, captain of Team 7. He paused momentarily before continuing. Your soul is tempestuous, perpetually enveloped in a state of savagery. Blood spurts from Gaara's heart. Instinctively, he attempts to shield it, yet to no avail. Lacking any power of resistance, Gaara succumbs to the kunai that pierces his heart. Although this unique sand yearned to protect him, its swiftness was inconsequential in the eyes of Dou Chen Guang. Your transgressions are now balanced by your demise. Humanity requires shackles to govern its impulses. In your next life, remember to conduct yourself with decorum. With a swift motion, Dou Chen Guang withdraws the kunai, observing as Gaara's gaze gradually fades before he turns to depart. Alas, Sasuke leaps down from the tree, having witnessed the battle unfold. He anticipated that this usually languid Uchiha possessed such formidable strength. However, it is concerning that after a period of absence, his physique has diminished. Could he truly be all right? Are you sure your health is not in jeopardy? You actually show concern for others. Dou Chen Guang jested. Who would care about you? I worry that if you grow so weak that even I could best you, how will you instruct me in becoming stronger? Rest assured. Little question. With a crack, Sasuke could no longer restrain his strength and snapped the branch in his grasp. To possess such might at merely a fraction of your full potential, does that not render you invincible? Surely you are aware of Uchiha Madara, known as the strongest of the Uchiha. How do you compare against him? Sasuke struggled to steady his breath, the revelation casting doubt on the efficacy of his training. According to the intelligence he gathered, Madara should be in his complete Susanoo form, towering at over 1,000 meters. In comparing strength, what merit is there in measuring oneself against a deceased individual? When juxtaposed with several summoning beasts, Gamabunta's concealed power is exceedingly formidable, placing him among the elite of the summoning realm. To nurture a summoning beast, one requires an abundance of natural energy, which is rather challenging to locate. Dou Chen Guang extracted the genetic material from the 10,000 snakes. The new summoning beast would undoubtedly not be another serpent, as that would hinder surpassing the limitations of the 10,000 snakes. Perhaps merely enlarging them or granting a pair of horns would yield minimal benefits. A creature of the caliber of Gamabunta is necessary, otherwise, he would not bother expending his efforts. What is the close relative of a snake? Beep, beep, beep. The resounding alerts of instruments echoed throughout the vast cultivation plaza. Indeed, this is now referred to as the cultivation plaza, an enormous expanse of 30,000 square meters. Within, 2,000 nutrient tanks stand orderly. Initially, there were 1,000, later augmented by an additional 1,000 to conserve time. Over the past month, lizard eggs have gradually formed, requiring burial in specialized sandy soil, maintained at a constant temperature of approximately 25 degrees for over a month before they can hatch. Unfortunately, he has yet to discover a suitable habitat to serve as the lizard's nesting ground. Buzz patterns illuminate, a fragrant essence circulates, infusing the entire barrier with verdant natural energy. Dou Chen Guang's natural energy diverges from the sage chakra of other sacred lands, for his is irradiated by meteorites, resulting in active natural energy. In terms of life levels, it surpasses ordinary natural energy, yet it has not attained the heights of stellar spiritual power. Indeed, the new energy he referred to as star spirit power. For Red Sakura exclaimed. In the Hell Valley, as usual, this remote and perilous location was shunned by most, particularly after the disappearance of the stars from Star Concealment Village. It had become a desolate wasteland. When Dou Chen Guang took the meteorite, he entrusted the captives to Summer, and it was said that apart from the execution of Qi Xing, the others were imprisoned. Star Concealment Village had become a mere shadow of its former self, as their descendants could no longer cultivate the peacock mystique, leading to a gradual decline, or following the trend of other villages, resorting to the traditional practice of chakra. 10 days later, in the specially treated nurturing sand, the first hatching lizard emerged, a unique chameleon tree lizard. Newly born, it measured nearly half a meter in length, with well-developed limbs and a color-changing ability. While ordinary tree lizards are brown, this one sported a red comb atop its head and a grass-green body pattern. Upon emerging, it even exhaled a breath of fire. It appeared to be a success. Dou Chen Guang awaited the lizard to consume its eggshell before bringing it to the instruments for various data assessments. Physique, chakra talent, Konoha, October 2nd, 63rd year of the era. The Hell Valley was clear of clouds, tranquil as the wind lay still. Today, Dou Chen Guang intended to reshape the entire terrain of Hell Valley. After several days of calculations, he ultimately decided to open the seaport to the north, an area that was once the domain of the Uzumaki clan, now abandoned and transformed into a primeval forest rarely traversed. To the east and south lay neighboring countries, one being the land of water and the other the land of crafts. Thus, the safest approach to the sea would be from the north, where they could forage in the waters. Swish, swish, swish. Dou Chen Guang formed hand seals, conjuring immense energy. As midnight approached, several wandering ninjas arrived near Hell Valley. They were among the first to investigate the area, drawn by the tremors, hoping to discover some treasures. Alas, everything remained as it was, and they were destined to return disappointed. In the following hours, ninjas from various villages sporadically appeared nearby. But all they encountered was the Hell Valley shrouded in poisonous gas, alongside the stillness of the small hills and dense woods. The presence of these individuals had not gone unnoticed by the Akatsuki members, who had already received wind of the arrangements made by Yahiko. Among the great and small nations, wherever there were ninja villages, it was likely they were merely running errands, with the heads of businesses receiving invitations courtesy of the Crimson Flame Association. Great leader, I wish to act alongside Brother Scorpion. Temporary reallocation of members requires mutual consent. If Scorpion agrees, then so be it. Yahiko signaled with his eyes. I have no objections. Anyone will do. Scorpion replied. Since you two are paired, that voice. It is her. It is indeed her. This voice was too familiar. It wasn't just a name. It truly was her. Uchiha Obito stood motionless at the door, listening to the lecture within, a sound he hadn't heard in many years. Still as enchanting as ever. Unbeknownst to him, the class was coming to an end. Teacher Noera Rin, your teaching has only improved. That masked ninja stood there, listening attentively throughout the lesson. After class, the teacher from the neighboring class jestingly remarked, the Village of Daylight. Near the ninja school, various commercial streets had already taken shape, offering an array of food, necessities, entertainment, and clothing. A plethora of shops lined the streets, each meticulously decorated window akin to captivating paintings, enticing passers-by to indulge in their offerings. Noera Rin and Obito were quietly sipping cold drinks at a refreshment shop. Why didn't you come find me? I've been searching for you, but couldn't locate you. Hee. Well, you found me now. Observing Obito's attire, Noera remarked, you hardly look like a Hokage. With an incredulous glance from Uchiha Obito, Noera tossed a suitcase his way. Here you go. Since you've taken the money, hurry and get to work. Noera restrained his temper, eager for this fellow to leave. It seemed he would need to keep a closer eye on Obito. Trust was waning. He finally grasped the despair felt by Yahiko and the others when things did not go according to plan. Whoosh. Obito had no intention of entertaining this nuisance. He strode back to Noera Rin, standing tall and proudly declaring. As members of the Akatsuki organization were assigned their respective tasks, they headed towards their mission locations. Deidara and Sasori, with Deidara's clay birds being agile, were dispatched to various small nations to deliver invitations. Uchiha Itachi, working alone, reached out to various allied clans. For the Uchiha clan was indeed renowned in the ninja world. Kakuzu and Haiden were sent to the feudal lords of the great nations to deliver invitations. Uchiha Itachi listened to Dou Chen Guang's narration, feeling an unexplainable sense of awe. He had not practiced any mystical chakra arts nor trained in natural energy. Thus he was unaware of the joy they entailed. Moreover, chakra was extracted from within oneself, leaving him in a passive state within the Tsukuyomi space. If what this person said was true, then the Tsukuyomi had many shortcomings yet to be discovered. This individual's sharp intellect was truly beyond imagination. Had he already conceived so much upon entering? Even if he discovered it, despite Uchiha Itachi's self-doubt, He overlooked a significant premise. Activating the Tsukuyami space required a vast amount of mental and physical energy, both of which necessitated long-term training to yield results. Uchiha Itachi, can you explain the principles of the Tsukuyami? You must have understood it upon awakening. Dou Chen Guang inquired thoughtfully. Fear not, I want to take advantage of you. I possess a technique that can enhance your physique and chakra, which will be quite beneficial. He intended to bring a few of these exotic lizards as gifts. One was a mutated giant lizard species, currently measuring 5 meters in length and 2 meters in height. Physical attributes: chakra talent, earth, yang, water chakra properties. Neurological response: intelligence. This giant lizard had achieved a level of intelligence that, with training, could articulate sounds and, upon maturation, could speak. Its most significant mutation was its innate mastery of 2 earth-style techniques, earth wall and earth release, allowing it to traverse through soil as if on level ground. October 15th. 63rd year of Konoha, clear skies. After a morning of cultivation, Dou Chen Guang stepped out with 6 carefully prepared gifts in hand. Today marked the wedding day for 3 couples from the Akatsuki organization, with the ceremony scheduled to take place at the village South Central Square, which had been adorned with vibrant decorations and an abundance of flowers. All that remained was to await the auspicious hour for the festivities to commence. Inside the Akatsuki headquarters, Yahiko, Nagato, and Kakashi awaited anxiously. They had arranged for love letters to be delivered to each of their beloveds' homes, and now they could only wait for the appointed time. Meanwhile, Ju sat silently on a bench, reflecting on the diminishing number of tasks at hand. Previously, Yahiko's leadership had kept them in check, but now even Uchiha Obito was slacking off. Despite having personally invited a few members, Ju realized that within the organization, loyalty was solely to the leader, not to him. You seem to be well informed. Now reveal your plan. If I find it unsatisfactory, you shall return whence you came. Ju asserted, having lost patience for prolonged discussions. Unbeknownst to him, the time for the Akatsuki's activities was swiftly approaching noon. Dou Chen Guang dispelled his transformation technique, revealing his true self within the Akatsuki headquarters. With crimson hair and bright orange eyes, standing at 187 meters and aged 36, he embodied his authentic form. Today, he held dual identities, one as the elder officiating the wedding of Yahiko and the other as a representative of the Uchiha clan attending the ceremony. Yahiko, how are the invited guests faring? Dou Chen Guang inquired. Almost ready, Yahiko responded, placing a ring on Konan's finger and holding her hand as they stood to the side. At that moment, the second couple began their vows. Yaoshi Yinayu, I adore you. Will you marry me? Nagato, with his long hair elegantly tied back, appeared strikingly handsome. His gentle gaze made Yaoshi Yinayu shyly avert her eyes, her heart racing. I will. Yaoshi Yinayu replied, her cheeks flushed. Nagato joyfully took her hand, standing beside Yahiko and the others. Meanwhile, on a hillside near the village of Mizu, Ju, accompanied by Haiden, Kakuzu, and Itachi, observed the lively wedding festivities below. Unexpectedly, it has failed, Ju remarked calmly. He had instructed Huang Quan to create a commotion at the wedding as a statement of his intent, indifferent to the possibility of success. Yet, he mused, success would indeed be preferable. Huang Quan, arriving with 4 others, glanced at Uchiha Itachi, who had dealt with a minor inconvenience. Dou Chen Guang returned to his seat, representing the Uchiha clan, opting to sit among the Konoha members for a more relaxed dining experience. He was primarily dining with Kimimaro and the others, since he rarely visited. This occasion was a rare opportunity, and everyone raised their glasses to toast him. It was uncommon for the teacher to appear, and everyone was curious about the gift he had brought for the wedding. With great joy, he inquired, now that he has become a small clan leader. Though their clan is small and their affairs few. As they were enjoying a banquet, a sudden commotion erupted outside. What could be the matter? Just then, Mickey entered from outside and asked, is everything all right? A few villages intentionally sought trouble, attempting to probe the strength of the ninjas, but were ultimately subdued by Scorpion. Is everything fine? No issues at all. Both parties are quite satisfied with the outcome. Mickey replied with a smile. It seems Mickey has learned to employ some strategies over the years, yet as long as he remains true to his original intentions, all is well. However, after the conclusion, there remained the restless mutated umbrella lizard. Dou Chen Guang recalled it, now clutching a withered branch it had picked up from who knows where. They have yet to be named. You may choose a name for them and teach them to speak. Oh, must we cultivate them from a young age? Nagato asked with curiosity. Indeed, this way, the bond and understanding will be much stronger. Dou Chen Guang shared his curiosity as well, for he had witnessed Naruto and Jiraiya utilizing summoning beasts, while Kakashi's ninja dog accompanied him. Swish, swish, swish. After a brief moment, the four figures finally caught up. With yellow and white fragmented hair, and blue and purple long locks, they knew they could not escape. Are you waiting for us here? The yellow-haired ninja inquired. Their attire was peculiar, adorned with hexagrams. The yellow-haired individual bore the Kan hexagram, symbolizing water. The blue-haired one displayed the Jin hexagram, representing wood, and the purple-haired one exhibited the Sun hexagram, also representing wood. Their attacks grew increasingly ferocious. It appeared they had infused natural energy. Could those patterns be akin to Sage Chakra? Truly impressive. It would be difficult to find an equal at their level. There's even more to behold. Water release, water dragon whip. Just as Dou Chen Guang evaded the ninjutsu, the yellow-haired ninja unleashed his technique, a colossal water sphere floating above him, with water tendrils lunging towards Dou Chen Guang. Swish, swish, swish. Not only was their speed remarkable, but in an instant, the purple-haired individual stood upright, whirlwinds spiraling around his arms, while Kasuna's hair transformed into serpent heads, darting about in a frenzy. They had all undergone a dramatic transformation. Before Dou Chen Guang could express his awe, their assaults had already begun. Wind release, divine wind slash. Swish, swish, swish. The multitude of wind blades enveloped Dou Chen Guang like a meat grinder. Faced with the swirling tempest, Dou Chen Guang stood resolutely unafraid. His impenetrable defense rendered him impervious to such attacks. These four individuals hailed from a nameless small village in the land of demons, where they began their training in ninjutsu from a young age. After mastering their skills, they departed their village, recruited by a terrifying organization known as the Immortal Legion, whose sole purpose is to unify the ninja world. Their leader is called Yomi, who is now entangled with Zetsu. What remains are the ninjutsu they have learned. The reason they differ from traditional ninjas lies in their possession of an ancient lineage, the Onmyoji. The origins of the Onmyoji are shrouded in mystery, appearing to be an external profession that evolved over time. Dou Chen Guang pressed the crystal button on the puppet's forehead, activating the battle mode. This mode requires at least one skill to meet the standards of a puppet before it can be activated. Once initiated, a beam of light emanates from the puppet's eyes, creating an illusion of traversing through a portal. The primary mode closely resembles the encounter with a puppet, with the sole distinction being the potential for ambush. Dou Chen Guang traverses a narrow path flanked by towering trees, with no alternative routes available but to continue onward. Ding! Whoosh! Dou Chen Guang materializes within the Uchiha clan of Konoha. Initially, he observes the state of the village and engages in conversation with Hong Ying and the others for a while before summoning Sasuke. It must be remarked that Sasuke exhibits a commendable dedication to his training. Despite possessing looks that could easily attract attention, his industriousness is remarkable. Teacher, you called for me? Sasuke approaches, glistening with sweat. Here, there's a contract you should learn. A summoning beast is quite suited for you, Dou Chen Guang states, presenting the developed contract to Sasuke. After pondering for some time, Dou Chen Guang finds himself with only a vague sense of direction and sets aside the matter for the moment. He meticulously sketches the items he has copied, studying their functions and subsequent applications. Impressive. He also uncovers a troubling issue that requires verification, if substantiated. It could have significant implications. Whoosh! Dou Chen Guang's ethereal form appears within the golem space, standing atop one of the golem's fingers, emitting waves of thought. This golem is imbued with the specific psychic waves of a select few individuals, and stimulating it could yield profound insights. After a considerable pause, Uchiha Itachi finally asks, his voice tinged with bitterness, have you confirmed it? Indeed, the magnitude of ocular power directly influences the strength of Susanoo. The speed at which ocular power diminishes has not augmented Susanoo's capabilities. Therefore, I sought to uncover the underlying cause and, through intermittent research, discovered a concealed mechanism that siphons the abilities of the Sharingan. Awaken. Kaleidoscopic Sharingan. Activate. Dou Chen Guang unleashes his own kaleidoscopic vision, inquiring, do you perceive any differences? The golem space falls into a profound silence as Dou Chen Guang contemplates the ulterior motives behind these events, while Uchiha Itachi processes this revelation. Time seems to stretch indefinitely. According to your assertion, is there someone orchestrating this from behind? Dou Chen Guang's gaze pierces through to the very essence of Uchiha Itachi's spirit. It is, indeed. A rather foolish question. If it were of no use, what purpose would there be in stealing it? Preservation? In this moment, Uchiha Itachi feels his intellect has been ruthlessly challenged. As the complexity of factors increases with higher levels, the corresponding difficulty also escalates. Dou Chen Guang intends to create 5 foundational shadow-level warriors, incorporating certain bloodline limits. As for the super shadow level, a single entity suffices. However, the super shadow is inherently superior to the shadow level, necessitating the integration of various bloodline limits, ninjutsu, taijutsu, and psychological warfare into the programming, making this endeavor the most formidable of all. Drip, drip. A series of notification sounds echo, signaling the presence of Hong Ying. Despite the antics of Uzumaki Karen, Dou Chen Guang remains unfazed by the distractions around him. His relationship with the Uzumaki clan has always been quite amicable, and due to his mother's influence, he possesses an innate affinity towards them. As long as the requests are not overly burdensome, he readily offers his assistance. Of course, I will arrange for her to learn some things. Dou Chen Guang assured Elder Xia. I apologize for the trouble. We shall take our leave now. Elder Xia nodded in farewell. He was well aware of Dou Chen Guang's straightforward nature, which eschewed circumlocution. After a moment of contemplation, Dou Chen Guang resolved to be forthright. Had the elders mentioned any historical matters regarding the Uzumaki clan? He inquired. They have indeed. Without your intervention, many clansmen might have been forced to live in obscurity. Elder Xia replied, evidently well-versed in the subject concerning Xianglin. Do you understand why the Uzumaki clan has yet to emerge in this era? Dou Chen Guang pressed on. It is due to the lack of protective strength. The sealing techniques of the Uzumaki clan allow for prying eyes, and within the Infernal Valley, in the laboratory, Dou Chen Guang was conducting a meticulous examination of Xianglin. He aimed to grasp the limits of her body to propel her beyond those boundaries. Xianglin's physique was indeed extraordinary. Even the sage known as the Slug Sage could not heal a person's injuries as swiftly. Only a deeply developed sage body could possess such capabilities, and even then, it would only be effective for oneself, much like the ability possessed by the legendary Hashirama Senju, as spoken of by the Nine Tails. While ordinary sage bodies could merely accelerate the healing of minor wounds. According to the plan, he intended to commence intensive training in the afternoon. However, considering the illusionary battle puppet program was incomplete, he had to postpone. Nevertheless, relaxation was not an option. He would craft puppets while Xianglin engaged in simpler training. For instance, she would carry a vigorously wriggling large lizard up a mountain, reaching the summit only to be pulled down by the lizard before continuing her ascent. Fatigue would allow for brief rests, a rather humane approach to training. Meanwhile, he hurriedly crafted the super shadow puppet, which had already consumed 3 days without full configuration. The weather was splendid, with lush vegetation all around. The clouds stretched across the sky, transforming into various intriguing shapes. This morning, Xianglin was in high spirits. For someone had promised to revise today's training regimen. Humph, no matter how handsome he is, this young lady will have him obediently at her feet. Her mood was as lively as her skipping steps. Dou Chen Guang's laboratory had already relocated to the foothills during the ascent of the mountains. Xianglin's words suddenly reminded Dou Chen Guang of his experiences with Nagato. Initially, out of fear that the Rinnegan would be widely recognized, Nagato had always concealed his eyes. However, in a state of blindness, one often experiences fear. Yet, the more one cannot see, the stronger the desire to perceive becomes, significantly stimulating the growth of mental fortitude. This enhancement of mental strength would evolve passively according to the host's own circumstances, adapting to the environment. For instance, certain creatures that have long dwelled in darkness may experience a regression of their ocular faculties, evolving instead into other forms, akin to the external manifestations of elemental spirits, reminiscent of desiccated branches. This evokes a longing to comprehend the societal visage of a bygone era. The existence of such beings prompts a curiosity about the splendor of that world, a mystery he yearns to unravel. In this realm, he conjures illusions. One of his aims being to ascertain whether he can resurrect this spirit, thereby gleaning insights into the knowledge of its era. Given that this elemental entity resembles a botanical life form, such a formidable organism should not easily succumb to extinction. With ample chakra for sustenance, he might have once contemplated a gradual approach. However, with K-Rin setting a precedent, he finds himself compelled to expedite each endeavor. Lost in thought, he casually pushed open the laboratory door. Having not ventured outside for quite some time, he was eager to discover how K-Rin's training was progressing. To his surprise, as soon as he stepped out, he was met with the sound of K-Rin's furious, high-pitched exclamations echoing from the towering summit. I'm going to take you down. You fool. A dull thud resonated through the mountains. After a patient explanation, Rin began to grasp the situation. Moments earlier, Dou Chen Guang had employed various physical techniques to deceive his opponent's mind, resulting in a state of confusion. For instance, in a simple demonstration of length and shortness. Although the opponent's hand appeared before Rin, her mind erroneously perceived that it had not yet arrived, leading her to wait unnecessarily. This misjudgment left Rin vulnerable to the onslaught. In the realm of the ninja, at the estate of the bird country's daimyo, a historic event was set to unfold today, the formal signing of the abdication document for the daimyo title. This announcement had been disseminated nationwide a few days prior. And upon signing, the bird country would officially be renamed the Land of Dawn, featuring a simple emblem. The current daimyo, Egretta, along with her sister, the Scarlet Egret, would lead their loyal retainers in establishing the Zil family. The abdication of the daimyo title has indeed emerged as the most prudent choice for the bird country at present. The citizens now take pride in joining the Village of Daylight. As Yahiko and Nagato pondered future developments, the Ninja Academy was fervently engaged in promotional activities. The illusionary combat wristbands made their debut in the lower ninja school. Each student experienced combat once a week, fostering an attachment to the wristbands among those who had tried them. However, according to regulations, only those who could endure for 3 minutes would be granted a second opportunity. Otherwise, they would have to purchase one for the price of 120,000 Rio. Furthermore, only the citizens of the Land of Dawn were eligible, and each wristband would be linked to personal information, allowing only individual usage. As a multitude of ninjas acquired these illusionary combat wristbands, the demand for illusionary space surged. Although each lower ninja was restricted to 3 minutes, the sheer volume of usage was overwhelming. It is noteworthy that the citizens of the Land of Dawn are quite affluent, being among the first to monetize their ninjutsu, thus sparing no effort in nurturing their successors. Due to the constraints of space, Dou Chen Guang dedicated 2 days to replicate a total of 5,000 lower ninja puppets, 3,000 middle ninja puppets, 2,000 upper ninja puppets, alongside 20 shadow-level puppets and 5 super shadow-level puppets. Moreover, he had set this matter within an illusion, keeping it a secret from Kushina. After all, Minato Namikaze had once been the Hokage. Did he not care for his reputation? Being at the bottom of the rankings would indeed be a source of shame. Although he wore a mask that obscured his expression, he was still aware of how others perceived him. Were it not for the Flying Thunder God technique, he might have struggled to maintain even the shadow-level status. Just then, while he was practicing the Rinnegan, Kushina returned. Minato, why have you suddenly taken to practicing ninjutsu? She inquired with curiosity. Suddenly, a notification chimed. Shadow-level combat basic mode activated. A portal of light opened, and Minato found himself transported to a forest. Towering trees obscured the sunlight, casting a dim shadow over the woodland. The terrain was advantageous, conducive to the use of the Flying Thunder God technique. Minato smiled confidently. This randomly generated map favored him, as the technique allowed him to bypass obstacles effortlessly. Whoosh! A kunai was hurled toward him. Grasping a kunai, Minato deftly deflected the attack and focused on the assailant. Although he had analyzed the previous tactics, they proved of little assistance, as another assault was imminent. Earth release, fighting arena. Boom, boom, boom. The ground beneath Minato's feet shifted and rose, while dirt from all directions coalesced into walls, sealing off every escape route. There was truly no room for error. Even the Flying Thunder God technique he had deployed as a contingency was drawn in. Was this the essence of true shadow-level prowess? The encroaching walls forced a confrontation, and with time passing, an eerie silence enveloped the scene. Could the body replacement technique truly be executed without a sound? Uchiha Obito replayed the earlier events in his mind, but it had all happened too swiftly for him to discern clearly. He opened his eyes. The Sharingan was pushed to its limits, and merely activating dynamic vision caused blood to trickle from the corner of his eye. Today he had to see clearly. Whoosh! Clang! Clang! Obito's taijutsu was honed under the tutelage of Minato and Madara. Coupled with the Sharingan, his movements were fluid and precise, devoid of hesitation. What was happening? Obito stumbled as he rose and approached a mirror. The pattern in his right eye was spinning at an alarming rate, so fast that the tomo were becoming indistinct. A portion of Obito's body was comprised of cells from Hashirama, which ensured his chakra supply was ample. Yet now, his chakra surged towards his eyes, almost as if striving to keep pace with the rapidity of the spinning. Open. Time passed, though he could not tell how long, until finally, his eyes came to a halt.